भूखे सब हरा मान रात वके यहाँ आके राती सबकी लाल चिल्लम का टान मारो बॉम्ब वाला शॉट समर और विंटर हमेशा रहते हॉट लॉन्डियों को भाव नहीं सकती अपना स्वैग में भी आके कभी देख I'm a black nigger I'm a black nigger रांची के स्ट्रीट से हाथों में बीट है हेडफोन में बीट बजे कागज में गीत लिखे black nigger I'm a black nigger
Big up, big up, big up, big up. It's your boy Sniper, the big Saturday stream. You know what time it is. Come on, man. Bright and early. We rocking it. We're doing this. You know what I mean? Cheers. Big up. Who should we start off? Silverback, original. Don't know what it is. It says salam. You know what I mean? Salam alaikum, my brother, man. Big up, man. Silverback always putting in work. Don't know what it is. 007K. Big up yourself, like number 2. Get me? Dublin's Trillis. You get me? Like number 4. BB Nana. You get me? Big up yourself, cuzzy. Don't know what it is. Bright and early, gang. Come on, let's get popping. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Come on. All right, let me see. That was mad, didn't it? In there. Come on. You know what time it is. Let's get it done early, man. Let's get it done early.
Would you believe that I was odd? If I told you I looked in the mirror and hypnotized myself into perceiving I was God, your understanding of your own divinity got abused in church. Genesis 9:25. They tried to use the verse to tell you recurs personification of the universe. What I'm attempting to encapsulate in this unique verse is you and I verse. Oh, we don't need new sneakers or the new FIFA. We need new leaders. And I don't mean Obama or the pastor, your mama, Sean Carter. I'm talking to you fathers more than marijuana farmers, getting bananas with your llamas, always getting into dramas, disrespecting our partners. The kids are left in the darkness, and no one's left to lead the way. And they ain't sure who mum loves more, weave or rapes. As I blow a smoke ring, I sip my E&J. I wonder if we never lost pack where we be today. I know it hurts, but it's real. First they work in the kills, and these rappers spitting verses in the skirt and some ills. But all the real niggas get murdered and killed. I'm sending out a SOS, this is an urgent appeal. We need more focused soldiers, too many culture vultures. Witnesses with no credit, trying to call Jehovah the revolution. Will not be televised, get off your damn sofa. Be more than a dank folder and study that Sankofa. His gully when man knows the truth about his ancestors' legacy. Carried on his damn shoulder, identify get more with UBP than he can Sosa. But he's got his swam and couple man in a Land Rover with a plan for couple grands. It's a mad road, son. You be sitting in the can if the plan goes wrong. And it will, gonna set us up to fail. Getting in and out of cells that we can't get enough of jail. No peace in the streets, it's just another hell. But mum's heart still broke when they ain't give my brother bell. This ain't a stupid cartoon. They're shooting harpoons at us young tooting car moons. Look at our wounds, they will Malachi your cue to silence the truth. Mumia Abu Jamal, you for life for your views. Fluoride to calcify the third eye of the youth and leave them blind and confused. Smart lies in the news, dirty like the junkie in the park, lighting a spoon. Do you know the truth about the dark side of the moon? The sculptor NASA and ask them who's Jack Parsons, stranger than John Carter versus Marvin the Black Martian. You know, when a man's got a crater on the moon named after him, Alistair Crowley's brethren, you don't even know who that is. Go ask NASA. They'll be giving you stuff like Avatar and EP and all this rubbish. They ain't telling you what's really popping. You think you're in the know. Got your eyes wide shut. We should run up in the Vatican, gas blasting, but you mango munching coons are too busy dancing and laughing, asking for chances and meager advances. An elitist and heartless system defeat is the harvest. It's like you sow with your soul, but what you're reaping is garbage. Most of you are brainwashed by television, so you switch your brains off while Jedi's spitting. Yeah, it's real, but your dying is still realer. I am 7, the red pill dealer, slanging reality raps about these alleys and flats, no fantasy fronting, trying to bring reality back. Fuck boys keep screaming about carrying straps and handling crack, but none of them can actually rap. Turn on the mixtape, all I hear is yappity yap. I'm getting cash in the trap. Blah blah, something about grabbing my gap. I'm more genocidal, anti-Nubian propaganda. For my mouth of the being perceived as a proper gangster, but I just see a proper wankster. And even though he sells, he is just the anchor. Smoke and mirrors, illusion for the camera. Look how many false prophets infiltrated since the Panthers. I hit the steam room and meditate on blocking chakras. Astral projected by repeating forgotten mantras. Quantum leaping to the past life, Gasper Ganga. No crabs in my bucket, but both my dogs are cancer. When I die, don't cry, just smoke a box of ganja. Throw my CD on the stereo and drop some bangers. One last time, turn it high, let me speak to the masses. Listen to every song I wrote, but you sheesh in my ashes. Give my son my lyric book and let him read from a passage. I'm a believer in magic, and in every bar I cast a spell to free your mind from this darkened cell. Grant you bell, liberate your soul and break your art from jail. I know you feel your dogs are frail, they're fugazi. So good sometimes it's hard to tell, but I can see the star trapped in the heart of a trap star. It's different from a star rapping about trapping but lacks heart. The world gets deceived by the media easy. Give us free is what I scream at the TV. Holographic subtitles when I dream is for Ely. Feeling like the seed of a fiend. All I know is there's lessons that I'm yet to learn, tables that I'm yet to turn, bridges that I'm yet to burn, stripes that I'm yet to earn. Still on the battlefield, feeling like a veteran. They're trying to trick you out your souls, and you're letting them. They're trying to trick you out your souls, and you're letting them. Illuminati.
Come on. Stars, we mean to go on. Big Saturday stream, you know what it is, man. You know what it is. Kick your bloody head in. You know how we stay. We don't play games, man. We don't play games.
Yeah. Told the doc my heart was burning. He just gave me Gaviscon. I am like a vagabond, traveling through Babylon, searching for the God inside. Internal tetragrammaton. A humble brother full of pride, trying to get my balance on. Foggy with a crooked smile, witches want the magic one. Most my life's been doing crime, robberies with valleys on. J Gamble Street dreaming like my GOC in Paris 1. Left my son too many times, wondering where his daddy's gone. All the years I spent inside, my story's not a lavish one. Wish I could go back in time, reverse the damage that was done. All the pain I felt in life, just fuel me to carry on. It's probably where my passion's from, it's probably where my talent's from. It's probably what kept me alive when my mum and gran was gone. That's why I got so many sides, a happy and a savage one, a tranquil and a manic one, content and a famished one. I'm for peace that squash the beef, but never been a salad done. I could get your carrots gone, smoking on the highest strains like where'd you get your cabbage from? Greener than the Amazon, a jungle with my chalice bomb. I get my Congo natty on, feeling like a pot of gold, sliders and a trackie on. Everybody's Iron Man till I get my proton cannon on. Then they're drawing out them diagrams in the station, getting their ballad on. Told the doc my heart was burning, he just gave me Gaviscon. I am like a vagabond, traveling through Babylon, searching for the God inside. Internal tetragrammaton, a humble brother full of pride, trying to get my balance on. Foggy with a crooked smile, witches want that magic one. Most my life's been doing crime, robberies and valleys on. J Gamble Street dreaming like my GOC in Paris 1. Left my son too many times, wondering where his daddy's gone. All the years I spent inside, my story's not a lavish one. Wish I could go back in time, reverse the damage that was done. All the pain I felt in life, just fueled me to carry on. It's probably where my passion's from, it's probably where my talent's from.
One take. I think I'm sharing the space in my head with a phantom. Makes me wanna throw lead in my magnum. Aim at a cop, empty my cannon, blow me some pot, empty a dragon. Hoping it prevents me from spazzing. Rage is like a deadly assassin that is in my heart right next to the passion. I sit in the dark when I blow out the lantern and box with the shadows in my mind till I'm champion. Till I restore the peace in my sanctum. Or I find some equilibrium. But out here like cowboys and Indians, fighting for a piece of oblivion, dreaming of millions. I believe the queen is amphibian or lizard, and people with billions are all wizards collecting souls from the many faiths of God. Ruling a maze where many stay lost. An elaborate labyrinth. I don't need no sage or amethyst. The bonfire on pagan savages and the deities that they pattern with. I'm known to pulverize poltergeist. I'm a soldier that's colder than polar ice. Turn them mobilize with free open eyes. Linking with bulletproof wings and avoid them guys with a coke fight. Say I'm paranoid, but I know I'm right. My silhouette turns to ghost at night. Or ghosts turn into my silhouettes. So the flower of life and the smoke from a cigarette. We're all trapped in the World Wide Web, that's why it's the internet.
We are awake on your own, shadows turn into ghosts. We are awake on your own, shadows turn into ghosts.
You little vagabond and unforgettable parasite. Talk about you a sound dog and I know that we are done champion and come to sound quality.
Strength, love, honor, trust. That shit makes me wanna bust my ting on a bed for violating one of us. Take a king heart and then dip it in rage. Force a king to live in a cage. Make him a slave for minimum wage. Put death on his plate and then fill him with hate. This is the world that we live in today. All of our energy given away. Malevolent entities have been manufacturing enmity. We've been enemies for centuries. So what, bruv? What's that got to do with essentially, they want us all gone eventually. Okay. Alliance of defiance, the rise of the rebellious tribes. I'm dead into ride. What is life if you ain't ready to die? I'm trying to thrive. What's the sky if you ain't ready to fly? What kind of guy am I if I ain't ready to try? Don't you know? All smartphone screens are scrying mirrors. Don't you know? Where supreme beings ruled by lying lizards. Don't you know? My free eyes open, but I ain't crying rivers. Strength, love, honor, trust is all you need if you're riding with us. Strength, love, honor, trust. Strength, love, honor, trust. Strength, love, honor, trust. Strength, love, honor.
Now as I sit and wonder, waking up from my slumber, trying to free my mind from the spelling that man are under. Now I can see the clarity, actions with no disparity. Evildoers hiding the dealings in the name of charity. All I need is honesty, honestly through this odyssey. Trust, love, honor, respect's a rare commodity. Integrity's a must in my presence, that's my policy. Guidance of the new generation, that's the monarchy. Gang, gang, if they ain't with it, let them hang. Knowledge is my weaponry, wisdom is what I bring.
Strength, love, honor, trust.
20 if that's I need freedom, that's a must. This is ebb and flow, cause and effect. Let them know, got these nooses round my people, them's neck. Let them go. Nowadays I watch while I step. You never know, cause your best friend could switch up the set and turn to foes.
Strength, love, honor, trust. 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 Strength, love, honor.
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing, I ain't never been nothing more than a lost king. Had to run from a couple wars that I was in. Same times found a couple jaws, never went gym. Take time, drop a couple jaws, peddling herbs and medicine. Something for the surface, searching for relevance. Bring a little life to the dead and the decadence. The code, the oaths to the popes and the presidents. The smoke screens are feeding the fiends. Hopes and dreams unevenly seen. It's a setup. They don't want me to hold my head up, so I'm fed up. Don't want to see my people get their bread up and develop. Gotta get up, gotta get it, gotta get out. Got a message to the devil, get the hell out before we get him. Gonna dead him with the venom that I'm penning. It's a weapon. Spits like a beretta, but it's better. Hit him in the heart with every letter, but whatever. I ain't better than my brothers. They're more clever with the matters. I'm just dealing with the matters, how I get it. If I did it wrong, yeah, I might be apologetic, but it's still a song. And I know you're not gonna get it, but we get along. Divided, we fall together, we get very strong, provided it's all love. Is it all love? I'm appalled by the state of the world, so I'm binding it all up. Is it all up? Or we all stuck? Sometimes I lose myself and I act up. It's not act but I'm just a man blood that's trying to man up in this modern day trap with the trappers and crackers that want to see man with the maggots at the end of the line, tired, chasing the carrots blind, wasting my time is a madness. Balance is what I'm trying to establish. Hasn't anything that I said entered your ear? If not, hear this, stop living in fear. Do what you said you were gonna do last year. Time doesn't wait, it's like a race. What you're looking for, standing there looking in your face. That's a metaphor. You will get put in your place if you're not in yours. It's just a matter of moments, not many more. We're not fooled by the bogusness anymore. Had my firstborn when I was 24. I need many more. I was stumbling, now I'm very sure, but still fumbling at times, humbling my mind. Take a deeper breath, energize my vibes, cause I like to rise. Drink some water, then get some exercise. It's all blessed alive. I've been gifted, so I bless the mic. It's uplifting for the rest of life. Sometimes switching for respect, cause I'm not indifferent from my rep. A good name's important. I reflect on what still stays dormant in your meds. I focus and then talk it from the chest to the youths, absorb it in the heads. They won't fight each other, they'll fight the feds. It's not about violence, just self-defense. It's the system that we need help against. We need help and strength, we all need to eat. And nobody ain't living on easy street. They said it's dog eat dog, but I don't eat the meat. But I still eat them seeds like they're a vegan treat. I still lyrically box and beat the beat up. So if you want beef, my beast, I'll be that. My jag and me that. Some slicing in subliminals, I see that. Some try but up to the task, I'm idiot. Needing rehab, fiends that relapse. Need to relax, need to rethink. What's the reason why you thought that I and I were even? Everything in its time and it's not the season of lies. It's a time when the truth's appealing to the mind.
On the 5th anniversary of the entry of Italian troops into Abyssinian capital, His Majesty Haile Selassie returns in triumph to Addis Ababa.
It's magical. Are you one? Can't stop building bridges, you know. It's time to connect the dots, see? Yo. I woke up this morning to the sound of angels calling. Levels of conscience are rising, the system of Satan's falling. Every minute days are dawning, cities grow but nature's calling. Rivers flow to seas, trees grow from seeds and bumblebees are swarming. The Most High speaks to men but most of them won't heed the warning. A man can't see what's in his face if he's asleep and snoring. I'm not a sheep to slaughter, I'm more like a lion roaring. Got no time to sit and watch the news because I find it boring. I prefer to look for clues, it's my own mind that I'm exploring. Sitting down, breathing slow and reading on some tile flooring. Raindrops on my window pane, sound the Jaja's mercy pouring. I'm mastering this game, something like the airy scoring. Creation is the most magnificent, so I can't stop adoring. Babylon's main focus is destruction, I can't stop restoring. I'm motivating the like-minded, there's no time for stalling. My shining light of sun at age of 7 months was crawling. Love, mercy and wisdom is what I'll try installing. Tell stories about the ancestors that came before him. Teach to fight without fighting, not like mindless brawling. Nations fight against nations, it's a time of warring. One night I was walking, me and the Most High was talking. I always question Jah and calling when I need direction. Help to bring what's dark to light and let me see deception. Don't let Babylon degrade, alter my perception. I don't want to live in a dream, like I'm in Inception. He said, son, I'll grant your prayer if it will ease your tension. Immediately I had to come to terms with my reflection. I saw the main politicians were corrupt with no exception. And then people walk the path that's paved with self-deception. Ignorance and misconception, stolen jewels in their collection. Secret schools rule their election, rats will run with no direction. Bombs will fall with no objection, devils walk with no detection. 9/11 is a lesson, stories full of imperfection. Vaccination, death injections. More means of communication, but more disconnection. More highways and intersections, but much less introspection. More lies and discontentment, more wrongs brings more resentment. TV channels build attention, tell too many lies to mention. Flashing lights for my attention, they don't enter my dimension. Waiting for the right ascension, pressure builds the hypertension. More death causes more suspension. Lyrical acrobatic, spit bullets of peace just like an automatic. Gripping the mind like magic, to granny it's like a racket. I spit on the rhythm and I attack it. We light up the wicked just like a matchstick. The wicked can't match it, just lit up a fat split. It never took acid, strictly natural herb and that's it. To be positive, my tactic. Never believe anything I read is written in black ink. It never been that dim, check it, yo. I'm a student, a sales promotion, controlling my own emotion. I'm moving like locomotion, my words are just like an ocean. Deep and I try involving the sheep and help them evolving. Many problems we're facing, let's come together to solve them. Many souls have been stolen, but they won't stop my devotion. I'm watching the House of Commons, I can't stand the commotion. I'm not involved in their argument, cussing, laughing in parliament. Many secrets are harbouring, talking truth is a harder thing. Burning, looting and bartering, can't be harmed cause I'm smartening. I speak psalms for the fatherless, I'm not asking for pardoning. Secret handshakes and bargainings, my spars that they're targeting. Got no time to be arguing, I'll be smart till the saga ends. Judge our talk to the heart cement, some are clowns that just laugh at them. Minds are blunt but I'm sharpening marketing, seeing snakes in the grass again. If he's fake, then I'm passing him. Paper chasing and hardship will make a slave of a starlet. Turn little Jane to a harlot, it's sad. I'm waiting for retribution, making my contribution, changing the institution, speaking my mind, debating, I'm practicing elocution. No, I'm not fussing and fighting, I'm trying to find a solution. Finding it hard to breathe because of all this smoke and pollution. Talking truth to the nation, won't pay the church's donation. I'm staying true with creation, build a righteous formation where love and life's the foundation. A humble organization, running herb like cremation. Amongst I'm finding salvation, I'm in a time of inflation. Money causes frustration, children suffer starvation while we give in to temptation and take no time for frustration. Or Marcus Garvey's quotation, more lies, more loss and taxation. Most I bless you with patience, so I'll endure the duration. Changing planet migration, I'm not a slave to a mason or afraid of Freddy or Jason. Open eyes when I'm aging, I'm like a vinyl rotating, I'm love. Are you one? We say, are you one? You say, I am one. We say, are you one? You say, I am one. And that's all we need to know. No, we say, are you one? You say, I am one. We say, are you one? You say, I am one. We say, are you one? You say, I am one. And that's all we need to know. No, so Rastafari, love and life, see it? Psychology, man.
We're all broke as a joke, we got nothing to live for. Tired of seeing nothing when we open the fridge door. We link more cats than we do yats, this shit's raw. Your stats go up and down like a seesaw. We're piss poor, stuck in a shit position. And to top it all off, these rich people start snitching. So it's hard to hustle, to stay alive you gotta love the struggle. Kids are shooting guns, not throwing up their knuckles. The game's evolved, I've seen man exchange their soul for Big P. I could have done it too, but that just isn't me. I'm comfortable in the streets. I ain't in a rush to blow and become one of them hoes in the industry. Fuck that. My generation ain't having it. Show us opportunities, we're grabbing it. We're hungry. Most of us can't turn to dad or mumsy for money, cause they're broke too. This shit ain't even funny. Thinking about Malcolm X, I never met him, but who cares? I show enough respect. You know I'm fucking scared, smoking weed, puffing Gretz and sipping Hennessy, ready to ride on my enemies. Fuck my life, I'ma die eventually, so I'ma do some crazy shit to make sure they remember me. I'm free crazy titch, fuck police, fuck your snitch and the judge. You know them cunts never wanna see us rich. They get jealous when they see the whips we're sitting in. Top down, they got a frown, they know the kids listening. I talk to God, but still continue to live in sin. It makes no sense, like guys who go gym and still ain't hench. I'm over 10 CDs deep. You need to get your rep and respect up. You can't see me, G. I smoke a big tree and end up in the sky. I'm the best that ever did it. You won't admit it till I die. The pain and struggle, have to maintain and hustle. The people that hurt you the most are the ones that say they love you. Most artists get extorted, some are even paying double. But my circle's tight, so I stay way away from trouble. Edmonton's like a maze, I'm just trying to solve the puzzle. There ain't no opportunity, the government give us fuck all. But it's cool, I don't need help, I'ma get it myself. I know these Nazis will rather see us going crazy in the cell. Fuck them. I never really followed the law. It's always been fuck the police since the age of 4. Waging war with the system. Trapped in Great Britain where they support pop but ignore man that spit wisdom. It's sickening, the game's changed, but who am I to complain? You don't deserve sunshine if you can't survive the rain. Take that in. The Lord put me on this earth to rule. I'm only 5'7", feeling like I'm 10 feet tall.
Yo, get me. Yeah. Bits. Yo, no justice, no peace. They ain't bad when it's on their phone, please. When I eat, all my brothers get a piece. Stay high, car brothers smoke trees. Yo, no justice, no peace.
They ain't bad when it's on their phone, please. And while we steady putting work up in the street, snitch niggas be working with the beats. They working with the beats. Pebble bits of both, trying to dodge broke. We never lost hope, we never had hope. I come from where the struggle is real, where if you ain't grinding, you ain't guaranteed your next meal. Where I'm from, the bros don't do romance. They just wanna grab big bums with both hands. And when their sister wows out, they turn savior. Like it weren't you promoting this behavior. Wife and child's I prioritize. I see myself in my son's eyes. So I don't wish I can go back in time. I'ma set the situation, make sure that my son shine. And I'ma only tell him one time. Never chat to the one time. Cause we and them ain't friend. They want us locked in the pen. We're trying to make sure we don't come off the ends. Dog, I don't wanna see no jeweler. I'd rather put down for my son and for my daughter. I wanna give the world to my son. And I wanna give the son to my daughter. Dog, I whip work up in the water. I can do 1 into 1 or get a Z back from a daughter. I'm honest, like, I would never shoot, yeah, if I'm taking anything, it's everything, so just cool now. Work to the corner that I work. All them man are bitches, all them man for wear a skirt. 2 o'clock in the morning, man's waving. Yo, get me. Yeah, bits. Yo, no justice, no peace. They ain't bad when it's on their phone, please. When I eat, all my brothers get a piece. Stay high, car brothers smoke trees. Yo, no justice, no peace. They ain't bad when it's on their phone, please. And while we steady putting work up in the streets, snitch niggas be working with the beats. They working with the beats. Pebble bits of both, trying to dodge broke. We never lost hope, we never had hope. I come from where the struggle is real, where if you ain't grinding, you ain't guaranteed your next meal. Where I'm from, the bros don't do romance. They just wanna grab big bums with both hands. And when their sister wows out, they turn savior. Like it weren't you promoting this behavior. Wife and child's I prioritize. I see myself in my son's eyes. So I don't wish I can go back in time. I'ma set the situation, make sure that my son shine. And I'ma only tell him one time. Never chat to the one time. Cause we and them ain't friend. They want us locked in the pen. We're trying to make sure we don't come off the ends. Dog, I don't wanna see no jeweler. I'd rather put down for my son and for my daughter. I wanna give the world to my son. And I wanna give the son to my daughter. Dog, I whip work up in the water. I can do 1 into 1 or get a Z back from a daughter. I'm honest, like, I would never shoot, yeah, if I'm taking anything, it's everything, so just cool now. Work to the corner that I work. All them man are bitches, all them man for wear a skirt. I've done mine, I could tell you about the dirt, but I'm humble over here with just my balls and my word, dog. I'm comfy on this corner. Them boys sweaty like they sitting in a sauna, dog. I'm comfy on my ones. Cause most these wannabe killers are really just them informers. Me and my troops hopping out of coops, cause they question man's badness, man's about to get them proof. Henny and a boost, that's the juice for man to get loose then. Do up the booth, card they know. Anytime I touch the mic, dog, that's fire. Plus I spit the truth, cause I've never been a liar. White youths out SD ask about me round Briar. Cause I get about, I know road like tire, dog. I work these roads, cause I know my roots. Grew my hair into locks, cause I know my roots. Yeah, we kicked off doors, I still got my boots. Why these fake rappers lying, telling free the truth? Blood, I work these roads, cause I know my roots. Grew my hair into locks, cause I know my roots. Yeah, we kicked off doors, I still got my boots. Why these fake rappers lying, telling free the truth? Yo.
Come on, everyone. Big up, man. Big up, big up, big up, big up. You know how we rolling, man. Saturday show early. We're about this life, man.
Yeah.
Bad boy tune. Oh, we're not
Yeah. I'm a rude boy with manners, books and bandanas.
Hey, nah. They're gonna get this work, man. They're gonna get this work. Come on. If you don't know, get to know.
I ain't done a freestyle in a minute, it's been a while. Again got me moving like Charles, raising my eyes, the sun's off the charts. Can't leave the house without wearing a mask. No inception, don't care about class. That's what they say and expect us to pay. Pay for a vaccine, one for straight. Melanated people, they want to separate. Car we compress, I'ma try violate. Black lives take and they can't stop the hate. Taking us out, cameras all in our face. Rest in peace to the ones that are gone. Never forgotten, cause we not stop the run. Racists coming out the woodworks, coming like set them the one for shine. Cause some of them are even the nuns. Teachers, leaders, all of them are. Whoa, let me not say much, cause I need a piece. I got to scrape up last month's rent. Yeah, it's outrageous, had us on lockdown, smoking my brains out. Karens and Kevins, all in a space now, saying what they want, cause it's rage when they call out. I don't have the time to think about the small stuff, creating the time for the mind that's before us. Being on a grind, been mashing the time. See, I ain't on a long thing no more, it's all up in the mind. I need to get mine, gotta put that work in and waste my time. Cause you don't really wanna play if you don't wanna do the time. If it ain't on the schedule, then nigga don't bell me. Cause I got shit to do, trying to get that money, trying to get that Grammy. What have you done? Where have you been? Ain't on agenda when my life ends. Ain't on a lay thing, it's about the strength is what I possess. Finding the flows and the rhymes that will shine. Making the sounds of what's good grime. Setting the trends can make a man sweat. Man says he's got bars, so where are they then? It's all about the talk, yet there ain't no sense making bars. It's about commitment. We don't slap with this cause we built for this set relationship. Music penmanship, I got bars, so I don't need Mars. Galaxy floor, was made for the stars. Bout your man, can't spend them move to sneak cars. That'll be all for today. That's the end of the class. Gotta get that work.
What?
We gotta get that work. We gotta get that work. Ain't on a long thing, gotta get that work.
Hey.
Gotta get that work.
What?
We gotta get that work. Gotta get that work. Ain't on a long thing, gotta get that work.
Whoa. Come on. Shelly Chefs, don't know. Unrequited running things right now on all platforms. And see me, you see it. No, what do I want? I want some of that. Some of that.
Yo, her eyes are black pearls, staring at the map of the world. All in black, cameras snapping my world. Glad she's a girl, the one anointed. May that's the name that she shall appoint with. Supreme justice cut from 48 laws of royal scripts. Kings from Kemet, caught for coiling bits in the courtroom. Defended by a lawyer's lips. From the patriot laws that hold the poor orphanage. Pale horses tread over hell's fortress. Left countries in debt in exchange for resources. Boardroom meetings discussing events that must take place in every fourth season. Atrocities of war treason. Misled soldiers and vets. Stab opium in their flesh. Whores and sex. Sonos and text. This world's cornered in debt. Terraform us through what we consume. Poisonous foods. Cancer cells spread. The population agenda's ahead. I fled a jackal. Busting shots through the capital. Hoping I can catch the devil with his Adam's apple. For the psychological madness we adapt to. Yeah. For the psychological madness we adapt. Lord have it. I swore to slay every devil on this planet. Causing havoc, torturous sadness, torment and madness. Caught in its raptures, drawings are graphic. I swim the atlas, putting my thoughts on the canvas. Lord have it. I swore to slay every devil on this planet. Causing havoc, torturous sadness, torment and madness. Caught in its raptures, drawings are graphic. I swim the atlas, thoughts on the canvas. Taped on the wire, raining fire.
One more time, come on. Fire track, fire. Wake up, man. Make sure you got your bunna, your coffee, your tea, your Long Island iced tea. Some people got pee in the bottle. Mad. Come on.
Yo, her eyes are black pearls, staring at the map of the world. All in black, cameras snapping my world. Glad she's a girl, the one anointed. May that's the name that she shall appoint with. Supreme justice cut from 48 laws of royal scripts. Kings from Kemet, caught for coiling bits in the courtroom, defended by a lawyer's lips. From the patriot laws that hold the poor orphanage. Pale horses tread over hell's fortress. Left countries in debt in exchange for resources. Boardroom meetings discussing events that must take place in every fourth season. Atrocities of war, treason, misled soldiers and vets, stab opium in their flesh, whores and sex, solos and texts. This world's cornered in debt. Terraform us through what we consume, poisonous foods, cancer cells spread, the population agendas ahead. I fled a jackal, busting shots through the capital, hoping I can catch the devil when it's Adam's apple. For the psychological madness we adapt to. Yeah. For the psychological madness we adapt. Lord have it, I swore to slay every devil on this planet, causing havoc, torturous sadness, torment and madness, caught in its raptures, drawings are graphic. I swim the atlas, putting my thoughts on the canvas. Lord have it, I swore to slay every devil on this planet, causing havoc, torturous sadness, torment and madness, caught in its raptures, drawings are graphic. I swim the atlas, thoughts on the canvas. Words taped on the wire, raining fire, Saturn alien robes, blast my way through a pagan's abode. Spirits catch me with a touch hotter than brimstone, 6 looking like clones, gripping my coat. Wonderful light skin tone seduced me, named Lucy, since she admired the truth I speak. A fine harlot with a plate between her knees. She lured baby fathers with bloody dances to set up some rape charges. Some even got their brains blasted. Mysterious cases, bottle-shaped waist. She walks to the lowest center of gravity, trying to grab it with the essence of a woman's worth. Pulling my shirt, whispers in ears to full her with sperm. She lost for me to give her what she couldn't return. Pure blasphemy. Before I knew it, she turned and asked me. Her marble floors turn to fire, just reflections of desire. Images jump out the frame in attempt to pierce my attire with spears. She said the words I speak is relevant every 24,000 years. The next come around is near, spoken by prophets, pharaohs and witch doctors. A glitch in the equinox is upon us. Your death is a promise which has to be made to the higher forces we pray. Outside display the portal in space, black clouds and cyclone winds. Sing Orion's hymn before I snap the gin in his forehead and study the science of this dream before I woke from this torment. Studied the science of this dream before I woke from this torment. Lord have it, I swore to slay every devil on this planet, causing havoc, torturous sadness, torment and madness, caught in its raptures, drawings are graphic. I swim the atlas, putting my thoughts on the canvas. Lord have it, I swore to slay every devil on this planet, causing havoc, torturous sadness, torment and madness, caught in its raptures, drawings are graphic. I swim the atlas, thoughts on the canvas. Yo, the beast is trying to annihilate the young seeds. Aspartame fluorides within the fruits we eat. Save the babies, save the babies. The beast is trying to annihilate our young seeds. Aspartame fluorides within the fruits we eat. Save the babies, please. The pen, I spit the phlegm of prolific men, liquid bend scripts with ballistic ends. I strip the stem with malicious tent. A distant lineage of stem drips the blend in a vicious trend. Conditioned to be submissive, my innocence formed.
Come on, you see how we're going on out here, bruv. So make sure you light up your herbs. If you're an herb smoker and you not smoke the herb, you can't help you, you know. We'd be letting you know. Big up everyone up in the building, man. Come on, man. Keys, lot of mercy. Hey.
When we come, we da fe bun, we da fe bun, we da fe bun. When we come, we da fe bun, we da fe bun, we da fe bun. When we come, we da fe bun, we da fe bun, we da fe bun. When we come, we da fe bun, we da fe bun, we da fe bun.
Jeez.
Pick up a spliff and drift.
What?
I'm not a stoner, it's a lift. Real herb man know what it is. Sativa smoke, no coke in my chest.
Jeez.
No gas, no diesel, no crack, no B, just cess. You can ask anyone that knows weed, I'm blessed. No cigarette for the eye, just commercial tie. Wrap that with the lettuce if it goes dry. Put that in the fridge, it'll stay fresh. Right next to the parsley and crest. They should sell herb next to the fruit and veg. It's good for the body and good for the meds. Gives you a good feeling, toes to the head. Sitting on the ceiling, smoking the head, thinking about life and it don't make sense. Like why we gotta pay for food?
That's right.
Why the homeless ain't got food? The more I think, the more it's changing my mood. the more I wanna know more of the truth. The more I gotta show that to the youth. I wanna eat something, so I peel some fruit. Give thanks for the present that grew from the root. Then I wanna drink something, so I draw for a juice. Take 2 sips, then I draw on a zoo. Wanna learn something, so I watch YouTube. Something deep with about 1,000 views. Study and breathe like the Shaolin dudes. Stay disciplined and master the moves. Master the self, cause it's harder to do. Wanna write something, so I draw for a tune. I look out the window, gaze at the moon. Man ain't gonna get there anytime soon, but it still makes me feel like I am in tune. One with the night and day, I'm alright. I'm not afraid of the dark or the light. I'm just the weight spraying bars on the mic. Gotta stay level, so I take 2 draw. And the something tastes good, so I take 2 more. Herb's not a jug, herb is a cure. Ask anyone, why do they smoke it for? My spliff cycle, my Rizzler's raw. Gotta stay natural, stick to the pure. Wanna go sit down next to the shore. Look to the sea, don't wanna feel trapped. Gotta feel free, there's so much more that's inside of me. So much potential that I can see. Let me master my chi. Take off my trainers, tie up my gi. Bar to the sensei, step on the mat. I'm doing all this while I'm sitting down on the flat. Master traveling, imagine that. Because of this green herb that's in my sack. None of my herbs are under attack. Red herb is the best of the herbs. They got it like what is the best is the worst. It's a crying shame and a curse in itself. Staying ignorant is a burden to health. Don't be ignorant or under a spell. Study the earth, that's knowledge of self. And know that knowledge is power. They wanna tell man sweet and sour, not knowing what's real and that. And I'm not really feeling that. That's why I gotta read and that. Food for the brain, I gotta feed on that. It's real nourishing like a vegan snack. Let me take 2 more pulls of the kush thing. Herb for the outlaw, herb for the hoodlum. In the Arabic tongue, herb is a Muslim. Can't tell me nothing about herb, it's a good thing. Grew on Solomon's grave. Moses lit up the thing in the cave. Bruce Lee used it to ease the pain. Tosh told them, let me tell them again. Legalize it, not to do it's insane. Dave Chappelle linked up Mary Jane. Charlotte Green put on live TV. Cause she couldn't take no more, watch it and see. Rick Simpson hills people for free. What you know about me? I'm ready to die, defending a tree. Chain man to the trunk. Love the forest, a little something like gum. For no reason, man, I'll get up and run. Man for the feeling, man, I'll tell a man come. If we stand together, then we're gonna stand stronger. Free the herb and we're gonna live longer. Plant a seed, add water and sun. Pick up the herb, put down the gun. Pick up a Rizla, fill it and bun. Pick up the roots, put down the rum. Good for the back, sweet to the tongue. Good for the blood and circulation. More love, more life, more cultivation. Ain't nothing new under the sun, so I gotta connect to the old and the young.
Rastafari. My favorite white boy tune. Yeah. The non-African can actually spit bars. What we gonna do about that, brother Kale? Big him up wherever he is, man. Someone find him, man. Tell him to jump on me.
I've been trying to relax a bit, but they call you pussy if you are a pacifist. But the lyrics still pack a punch, not lacking grit. Think I didn't see shit cause I didn't grow up in the maddest bits. I'm just not down with the fake persona. Smell the bullshit in the air, fuck a fake aroma. I only walk with the real as of late alone. Accentuated by the fact that I'm always sober. Some think I'm serious, moody, some think I'm weird. Some days I think it'd be better to disappear. The mountains help me to see shit a little clear. Get control of my psyche, the biggest weapon is fear. The biggest healer of tears, or so I'm told. Feel like I'm wiser but growing old. Everyone around me is settling down. Giving up on dreams in exchange for the pounds. It's confusing just finding your way. In 2 minds, Gemini, born the last week of May. The world's in need of leaders. We got Boris and May. Tried not to get political, but what can I say? Fuck them. Feeling like we're stuck in a maze. I just wanna get up and away.
Come on. Big up the non-Africans up in the building. Jeez. Lord have mercy. Truth is truth, though. Everybody's got their own experience, fam. And we rate that.
I've been trying to relax a bit, but they call you pussy if you are a pacifist. But the lyrics still pack a punch, not lacking grit. Think I didn't see shit cause I didn't grow up in the maddest bits. I'm just not down with the fake persona. Smell the bullshit in the air, fuck a fake aroma. I only walk with the real as of late alone. Accentuated by the fact that I'm always sober. Some think I'm serious, moody, some think I'm weird. Some days I think it'd be better to disappear. The mountains help me to see shit a little clear. Get control of my psyche, the biggest weapon is fear. The biggest healer of tears, or so I'm told. Feel like I'm wiser but growing old. Everyone around me is settling down. Giving up on dreams in exchange for the pounds. It's confusing just finding your way. In 2 minds, Gemini, born the last week of May. The world's in need of leaders. We got Boris and May. Tried not to get political, but what can I say? Fuck them. feeling like we're stuck in a maze.
Hey,
I just wanna get up and away. I don't talk if I got nothing to say.
Real talk.
If shit will work out, if dreams will come true, put an end to their doubts. If violence will cease, if in our lifetimes we'll see peace.
Wow.
If shit will work out, if dreams will come true, put an end to their doubts. If violence will cease, if in our lifetimes we'll see peace.
Still surrounded by dreamers, sleepers, walking speakers distorting the mental views of the fallen. Evil is talking, projected through their recordings. Secretive sorcery, selling souls like they're Jordans is fuckeries cause of covered seas. How many hungry humans hunting for money trees, consuming everything they see until there's none for we. I had to sit and learn the lesson from the honeybee. Float under the sun, I'm free, tending to my mother's need. Pollinating planets, don't panic, just overstand it. A man is only a man and it's mad, he's making it manic. Order out of chaos is the order of the day, it's that way. Cause they formulate the hates, they're emphatic. They'll sell you death in a packet and then we buy it and say it tastes good. Just how we like it, but we're wrongly guided to keep on siding with the system that's violent and doesn't listen to the teachings of the king, but it's lying like it's the Christian. Lions are in my vision, I'm smiling because I'm different, not blinded by my religion. Been guided back to a kingdom, experience teaching me wisdom. Victims been tricked into eating everything that they're given, that's not my decision. Rastas stay practicing idle living cause the food is killing. Salt and sugar like heroin, all of this belly filling. Cock sniffing and Henny sipping, got our medi slipping, gotta stay woke or stay in prison. One
things will come true, put an end to their doubts. If violence will cease, if in our lifetimes we'll see peace.
Come on.
Still surrounded by dreamers, sleepers, walking speakers distorting the mental views of the fallen. Evil is talking, projected through their recordings. Secretive sorcery, selling souls like they're Jordans is fuckeries cause of covered seas. How many hungry humans hunting for money trees, consuming everything they see until there's none for we. I had to sit and learn the lesson from the honeybee. Float under the sun, I'm free, tending to my mother's needs. Pollinating planets, don't panic, just overstand it. A man is only a man and it's mad, he's making it manic. Order out of chaos is the order of the day, it's that way. Cause they formulate the hates, they're emphatic. They'll sell you death in a packet and then we buy it and say it tastes good. Just how we like it, but we're wrongly guided to keep on siding with the system that's violent and doesn't listen to the teachings of the king, but it's lying like it's the Christian. Lions are in my vision, I'm smiling because I'm different, not blinded by my religion. Been guided back to a kingdom, experience teaching me wisdom. Victims been tricked into eating everything that they're given, that's not my decision. Rastas stay practicing idle living cause the food is killing. Salt and sugar like heroin, all of this belly filling. Cock sniffing and Henny sipping, got our medi slipping, gotta stay woke or stay in prison, one it meant to fit in.
If shit will work out, if dreams will come true, put an end to their doubts. If violence will cease, if in our lifetimes we'll see peace. If shit will work out, if dreams will come true, put an end to their doubts. If violence will cease, if in our lifetimes we'll see peace.
Come on. Big up everyone in the building. Saturday streams, gleam. Yeah, I'm just chilling with the team. Big guns and magazines. Yeah, tear out souls and rip out spleens. Know what I mean? Yeah, Mr. Narmer on a Saturday. Know what I mean? Yeah, I just do it. Hey, it don't matter anyway what I'm gonna say. I just do it my way. Know what I mean? Yeah, just chilling on the highway. Yes, on a Saturday. Yeah, chilling out. Watch a movie, watch a matinee. Hey, do it in a fatter way or do it a little, spit a little riddle. I'm playing, man. Allow me, man. It's early still. But. Yeah, I rate that tune. So let's get to it. Pen and pad time. Big up all the people up in the building. Bipolar Bear and all that. Unique Diamond, you get me? JD and all that. Come on, big up the family, man. Jeez. No long thing. Let's get to work, man. I ain't even got the time. I ain't even got the better talk to me proper time. Say don't give up your day job, Snipes. Don't give it up. Ad City, man. Ad City.
Till maximum. And many humans have migrated. Egypt is a modern country, but in terms of the Neolithic period, we are looking at the Nile Valley as the fertile lands of Egypt. The desiccation of the Sahara Desert started as a result of the warming of the climate since the last glacial maximum, and many humans have migrated to a life around the Nile River by the start of the Neolithic. It appears through the archaeological record that agricultural lifestyles developed from around 8000 BCE onwards, and that there was a connection of culture to the Fertile Crescent, as opposed to Egypt developing in total independence from the Asian lands of the Fertile Crescent. It does appear also that the peoples of the Nile Valley did not immediately become sedentary farmers, and that there was a period of nomadic pastoralism, which is basically the controlled herding of wild animals. There is also evidence that humans had a very intimate knowledge of wild grasses and knew how to take care of and harvest such plants. So although that they were not domesticating fauna and flora in a way that we would associate with the Neolithic, they were certainly carrying out control of these things, which serves well as an example of a link between hunter-gatherer lifestyles and sedentary farming lifestyles. It does appear that in the same way that we were able to culturally separate Mesopotamia into two areas, that being northern Mesopotamia and southern Mesopotamia, we can do the same with Egypt. Lower Egypt is the northernmost region centered around the Nile Delta on the Mediterranean Sea. Upper Egypt is further south, but still in the south of the modern country of Egypt. Carden culture. Fred Wendorf was an American professor of anthropology born in 1924, and some 40 years later, in 1964, Wendorf and his team discovered an archaeological site in the Nile Valley, in the very north of the modern-day country of Sudan. The site is called Jebel Sahaba and is the site of cemetery containing the bones of 61 individuals, which perhaps dates to around 13,000 years ago. In 11,000 BCE, the Younger Dryas was starting to take hold, with temperatures in the northern hemisphere suddenly dropping. Men, women, and children of this area of the Nile Valley were apparently being subjected to acts of violence. Many of the skeletons show signs.
1 second. Triller, no one cares about you, man. What's your issue, man? About saying boring show. You ain't even got a show, bro. No one cares about Triller Live TV. That's why you're over here. You can. Fuck's sake. If you think you're gangster, jump on, man. Say what you want to say. What you got to say? What you going to tell us? Siki, blah, blah, blah. But you still ain't stopped drinking. Come on, then. Where we at? When are you intelligent enough to play a video or to put out some information? You don't do nothing, bros. I'm a content creator, bros. Yeah? What do you do? Because jump on, man. You know what I mean? There's no bias here, man. You know we ain't afraid. And we don't run you guys. You guys run yourself, bros. You get me? Jump on and get this work, man. Tell me what your issue is, man. What, are we racist again? Well, you guys are just racist because you lot think, shut up, man. Always trying to be, man. You can't do it. Be you. Yeah? You're a big, tall Asian brother. You should know better, man. What is it, man? But it's a fake account, man. That's Triller, man. With his bullshit, man. You don't care. He wants the thing. Jump on. about fake account. He's not even smart enough for that, bros. Who wants to troll Triller? It doesn't make sense, bros. I got 101 trolls, yeah. Shit, you know. Maku's boxers, Maku's this, you know, Nuwabian Daipa, Bros, I got, yeah, since I started this shit, all 6-7 years ago, like, bros, it just comes with the territory, you know. YouTube, Speakers Corner, all of that shit. Yeah, all comes together. All the neeks, all the weird people online, and then, you know, some of them are in real life, and then they get to meet you and realize it's not that, bros. I'll fucking smash your fucking skull into the fucking ground and speak with a calm voice still. Yeah, but no, it's not even about that. I just like, bros, I do me, man. If you don't like my thing, then, bros, you know what to do, bros. Just, you know, up off. Yeah, but other than that, don't ever come on my shit and talk about boring. Yeah, yes, you've made the show a couple times. Yeah, but that's just you getting slayed. It doesn't mean you was the food, you was the dinner. Yeah, you was the one getting served up. Mad thing. Yeah, you're cannon fodder. Advert. Yeah. We just say, 1 second, let me just deal with this drunk guy. You know what I'm saying? But one thing you can do is stop drinking. Yeah. One thing we asked you. Now you got all these slurs, all this cheek in the chat, and why don't you just jump on and show everyone you're not drunk at probably 11:18 in the fucking day? It's very sad, man. Yeah. The whole Asian subcontinent takes an L because of a man like you. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing to do with us. Until you're getting beaten up, obviously, of course. And then all of a sudden, yeah, my brother. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I grew up with the little black brothers. Yeah, my black friends, nah. Yeah, let's go back to the info, man. Shut this nigga down.
Signs of injuries that have healed, and many of the skeletons show signs of fatal injuries caused by pointed stone projectiles such as arrowheads. Study of these skeletal remains suggests that the individuals may have belonged to a distinct culture that could possibly have been migrating northwards along the Nile River due to the fact that they were morphologically more similar to African humans to the south of this area than to the north. They may have been migrating due to the changing climate conditions brought about due to the younger dryas, forcing humans to cling to the river's edge. They may have stumbled across some unwelcoming residents of this area who violently butchered these individuals who may well have looked very distinct. Some experts believe that this could have been a battle between lighter-skinned individuals from the north and darker-skinned individuals from the south. One of the first instances of a battle based on xenophobic emotions, perhaps. We believe that the perpetrators of this violence may have belonged to a culture called the Kadan, who appear to have an advanced epipaleolithic knowledge of the environment and the nature of fauna and flora. We can see evidence of some of the world's first stone sickles that date from this period, as well as grain grinding equipment.
What?
By epipaleolithic, we mean in this context on the cusp of becoming Neolithic.
Wow.
They are also referred to as a culture of ritual burials, suggesting a spiritual system of beliefs not unlike those already explored by this podcast previously. Crossroads of cultures. When we look on a modern day map, we look at Egypt as a country in the northeast of Africa. It is the gateway country to Asia and is the only African country that can be accessed from outside the continent without the necessity of a sea crossing. However, this makes Egypt extremely interesting because it really does have a history of association with the cultures of the Near East as well as the cultures of Africa. When Egypt entered the Neolithic, we can absolutely see evidence of agricultural cultures emerging from origins in the Near East, and therefore giving us good cause to label the lower Nile Valley as an extension and indeed an established part of the Fertile Crescent. There is no doubt, however, that in general, Egypt and the Nile Valley developed with definite cultural independence from Mesopotamia in the east of the Fertile Crescent. It is maybe the difference in geographical connections which see cultures that can be distinguishable developing in Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. Lower Egypt was centered around the extremely fertile Nile Delta, and many agricultural and cultural advances of the very successful Near East would have filtered into Africa via Lower Egypt. It does appear that agricultural lifestyles developed in Africa anyway, and the successes of which may have been supported by the Neolithic subpluvial, which was a period of fertility in the Sahara Desert, which took place from the 8th millennium BCE right up until the first dynastic periods of ancient Egypt around the end of the 4th millennium BCE. There is not
8,000
a
years
huge
ago,
amount
like,
of
what are we doing,
archaeological evidence from
what are we doing? When we're talking about these man 8 to 11,000 years ago, and then melding into what you're calling Egypt or whatever, yeah, it's still way before any other civilization, Sumeria and all of that. It's like 4,000 years. We're talking 8,000 years pre-dynastic, before any dynasties of Egypt or before joining of Upper and Lower Egypt. That means there's loads of thousands of years prior to that that man don't really know much about. How those civilizations came to be those civilizations. Because those people were those people, right? And they just congregated there and did what they were doing there. But it's a build-up, right? Different tribes, different over time. Oh, there's a place where tribes just live now in large groups. Because that's not necessarily the African way. There's so much space. But anyway,
Egypt from the early Neolithic, but from the 5th millennium BCE, we can certainly start to identify distinct cultures emerging in the two areas of the Nile Valley. Those around the Nile Delta, which we call Lower Egypt, and those around the cataracts of the Nile, which we will call Upper Egypt. 5th millennium BCE.
Live streaming can be.
StreamYard. Big up StreamYard, though. They do their stuff.
The 5th millennium BCE. We do believe that Egyptians were more or less sedentary in and around the banks of the Nile River in both Lower and Upper Egypt. They may not have all been completely agricultural, as they may have still been practicing pastoralism in some areas, which is the herding of animals as opposed to their direct domestication.
Come on, man. We domesticated and we were doing agriculture. Like, what are we doing? Irrigation, to irrigate the Nile and make the Nile more fertile on both banks of the Nile, to manipulate that system, or know that's the most fertile parts of the Nile, both sides of it. Yeah. All the silt that comes out of the river onto the banks, and that makes the land really, really, really fertile. It's mad. You know what I'm saying? But this is thousands of years of knowledge, man. We've had this we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't that we overstood agriculture. Like, what are we doing, man? You know what I mean? We've been here for 300,000 years, and now we're only talking about 5,000 years ago. So, please, man. How the fuck did we get to 5,000 years? Not knowing agriculture, or be able to farm, or or herd animals, or domesticate animals. Like, stop it, man. It's ridiculous. Nonsense.
Domestication is something suggested to have been predominantly introduced from the Near East. Excavations from Lower Egypt in the 5th millennium BCE.
They are the people from the Near East. It's so dumb. Do you know what I'm saying? Even the Mesopotamians or whatever are those people. Same. That all is Lower Egypt. You know what I'm saying? All of that is Lower Egypt. Upper Egypt goes all the way to Lake Victoria in Uganda. So, like, we're not going to do that. Yeah. There's more civilizations that go further back because that was the seat of power in ancient times. Before all of this, yeah, there was seats of power in Lake Victoria, obviously the root of the Nile. Yeah. The other root of the Nile, the blue and the white Nile, the blue Nile comes from the mountains of Ethiopia. Mut, all which would have been classed as Egypt, right? In the ancient time, because we don't put borders like Europeans do. So, it's crazy.
Demonstrate that lifestyles were agricultural, but that they were being supplemented by hunting and fishing. Pottery.
That's now, isn't it? That shows that everything is in play. We've got our veg, fruits, whatever, nuts, paws, and all of that, right? And then we've got our poultry, our fish, or whatever, eel, whatever type of fish is in the Nile or whatever, or in the sea, to be honest. You got what I'm saying? We can do both. You know what I mean? And then we, occasionally, if you want meat, you can hunt for animals. Not everyone's going to do that, but yeah. Because that's the whole point of domestication and herding animals as well. Because, yeah, sometimes we eat them, but yeah. A lot of the time, they didn't eat the animals they herd. They still hunted wild game because, your food's better when it's free range. And Africa's free range, isn't it? So, it's the massive, biggest free range place in the whole world. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, whatever animals is out there is eating fruits and trees and grass and all of that. And yeah, proper things, proper grass, if you can find it. It's crazy, but.
Was also being created and used. Dwellings.
Yes, again, one of the earliest things they do find in any civilization, I always say this, right, is pottery. Bomber clock pottery, man. How come? You know what I mean? You get some pottery and it's like, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 years old. Like, who was doing pottery back then? Come on, man. The timeline is messed up. You're always like trying to squeeze us into this small timeline of existence because this is when you exist, Mr. European. No slur, no disrespect, but facts. Yeah. You want to bring it to when you come into existence or come into the ability of writing and doing this and, discovering that there's other people around the world and organized civilizations and that, and they have their system of communication and it's going to take thousands of years to work it all out, let alone work out what happened prior by digging under the sand. It's all crazy, man. Mad.
Were often small, round huts with wattle or reed exteriors. Burials seem to have taken place with very little ceremony and very close to the dwellings. Maybe society was still quite egalitarian in this part of the world. Further up the river towards Upper Egypt, and we notice more in the way of systematic burials. There may have been a social distinction between tribespeople who may have been held in higher regard than the average man. But this doesn't necessarily mean that societies were class-based, as special burials had been going on for thousands of years in various human societies around the world. What is absolutely evident among these societies is that there has to be very definite trade links, as the artifacts excavated during this period certainly cannot be described as local to the area. Basalt and copper likely came from the north, where ceramic wares could have come from the south. It is likely that these societies were sedentary and agricultural, as is evidence from the remains found there. Nakada. As we enter the 4th millennium BCE, we start to discover cultures that are historically referred to as the Nakada cultures, named after the town of Nakada, whose artifacts have proved to be vital in determining the history of Egypt directly before its ancient period. Nakada is in what we would refer to as Upper Egypt, on the banks of the Nile River. The Nakada cultures are split into 3 separate cultural periods.
Can you see how dry the fucking area is? Look, this is the Sahara Desert, man. This is all desert, fam. You know what I'm saying? And look, this is the fertile bit. Look, all around the Nile, both sides of the Nile. Always been like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's humans that have done this and made it more, you know, exploited the river, in a sense, manipulated the river all the way down. But at the source, there's more water. You get me? And it gets more fertile as you go down into more of these Uganda and all of these places, or Central Africa. You know what I mean? So, interesting.
Nakada 1, which is alternatively called the Amratian. Nakada 2, which is alternatively called the Gersian. And Nakada 3, which is alternatively called the Sumerian. So we need to explore each one of the
Sumerian. Like, what are we doing here, man? Come on, man. Because at that point, the Sumerian civilization hasn't even supposedly come into existence, which is another lie. Our people have always been there, going back and forth and moving around their geographical area. They own all of that. If the Lower Egyptians own all of that, yeah, when it gets down to Menes and all of that, and he combines up on Lower Egypt, yeah, that's what he's doing, because he's gone all the way up to the Levant to claim back his heritage or titles or whatever. I'm the owner of this. Remember that. You can have vassal kings and that, but you know who run things, right? All right, cool. Yeah, boom, comes back down, and then his area sorted. So then he can appeal to the upper Egyptians in the Upper Egypt, yeah, to join and be a unified king. But we claim Menes or Narmer as our ancestor, as a Yoruba. You know, it's mad, crazy.
These cultures in turn. Now, we should talk once again about climate change, as we did in the previous podcast. And the reason why we do this is because it is interesting to speculate about the impact that climate change can have on human societies. Could the sudden onset of the current Quaternary glaciation, that was the start of the current ice age 2.5 million years ago, have triggered human evolution as we know it? Could the eruption of Mount Toba around 80,000 years ago have encouraged a survival of the fittest, where the human populations that survived it triggered a mysterious great leap forward in cognitive and technological?
80,000 years ago. Wonder if anyone kept records of that. Crazy. What was humans supposedly doing 80,000 years ago? Running around, ugh. I don't understand what they're trying to say to us. But my mind's eye goes back to Africa and back to the oldest people, and, you know, something around those lines. The little people, the tall people, the fair people, the dark people, like the little peoples, all of the peoples, ancient, old school people of Africa. Yeah, the ones that have the first DNA, the L1s and L2s and that, before it gets to E1, B1s and all of that sub mixture, admixture, mixture of the same couple of groups, original groups. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what are we doing that here? How was we prior to that? Because prior to them meeting us, we were not savage or barbaric and like, yeah, obviously we had wars and we killed each other and all of that madness. Yeah, not every situation or society. Yeah, but all of them seem to have an army and all of that, and they were ready for action, because we know how our brothers stay, man. You get me? No one ain't pussy out here. Yeah, everybody want to live in autonomy and all of that, but sometimes, yeah, you need some protection. Need some bodyguards on that. You know what I mean? And be ready to bang that iron together, man. What's going on? Cold steel on it.
Human ability that scientists often refer to. Could the eruption of Campania have triggered pressures on hominin populations of Europe to compete for survival, therefore rendering the Neanderthals extinct? Could the younger Dryas have forced humankind to become more resourceful in order to survive the extreme conditions and therefore provide a catalyst for the Neolithic revolution? In around 3900 BCE, there was an intense aridification, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere. The event is called the 5.9 kilo-year event to reflect the fact that it occurred 5.9 thousand years ago.
Hey, jokes.
Although the first Nakada period is believed to have emerged before this event, it is still believed to be the event which caused humans of these Egyptian lands to converge around the Nile River, abandoning the desert lands which would have been more habitable in the 4,000 years previous during the Neolithic subpluvial, which created the Green Sahara theory. The 5.9 kilo-year event also coincides with the transition in Mesopotamia from the Ubaid period to the Uruk period. Maybe Mesopotamians were forced to the river's edges in the same way as societies were forced to expand and adapt, leading to the mass production of everyday practical objects such as bowls for carrying essential grains. The desiccation of the Sahara was a gradual thing, though, happening over hundreds of years. But there is a lot going on to suggest changes in lifestyle were necessary to deal with this event and possibly even push humankind into an obligation to live in ever-increasing populations. What caused the 5.9 kilo-year event? Well, some link it to North Atlantic ice rafting, creating fluctuations to the climatic balance. But there is so much to look at when committing to such reasoning, as it is highly contestable. The true answer is that we don't really know enough about it to be able to categorically state why it happened. But we're confident that it did happen, and we believe that it did trigger human migration to wetter and more fertile areas, such as the Nile Valley. Amration culture. Well, as we mentioned, the Amration cultures first started emerging before the 5.9 kilo-year event that was causing the desiccation of the Sahara. Some estimate it to have begun
Egyptian
as early
and
as
Sumerian kind of mix.
4,400 BC.
What are we saying there? You got the Egyptian eye, kind of the way they do the art. You get me? You got a little bit of Sumerian, like how they do it, but the lips and all of that, and beard and come on, bruv. Look, what's this? What's this? Braids, locks. What is this? You get what I'm saying? Come on, man. Napata, napatan, napati. You get me? But napata, ta, meaning pygmies, man. Come on, man. We know what it was, bruv, but they just playing this game like they don't know what was happening before. But yet, those old school pygmies or, Africans like Aboriginals and they would say they have a Neolithic look. So before the Neolithic period, well, what is Neolithic? You say it's a phenotype, you know what I mean, of old people, ancient people who 80,000 or 70,000 years ago are traveling to Australia. Mad. Before the glacial maximus, and shut up, man. you lot contradict yourself every blood clot minute. People moving around 100,000 years ago, 60,000 years ago, this 1,000 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Way before any of these things that you're talking about. I don't understand. How do you know all this? Huh? How does it make sense? And yet everything is the oldest civilization is 4,800 years, 4,800 BC. Yeah, bruv, come on, man. Come on, man. The timelines don't make sense, man. Artifacts, everything is just contradicting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Is it just me?
The Amracians were clearly agricultural and were using copper to create objects. Ceramics were being produced with more practical purpose, such as bowls, figurines, and clay brick houses. We believe that there was a definite trade network with the north or the south to import luxury materials such as obsidian and gold. The ornamental ceramic pots were often coloured red with black or white bands and rims. The Amracian culture is named after the type site at El Amra, which was occupied from 4400 BCE onwards. The most significant discovery at this site is the sheer amount of burials. There are over 1,000. Scientific observations of the burials of the Amracian culture have led experts to declare that societies were growing larger, therefore supporting the theory of a migration towards land adjacent to the Nile and mirroring the emergence of large organized societies of the Uruk period of Mesopotamia. The dead were buried with rich grave goods, indicating spiritual beliefs, perhaps of an afterlife. Also, we can start to see the emergence of segregation of graves, demonstrating a likelihood of a class-based society beginning to emerge, possibly as a consequence of the growing sizes of settlements.
Sorry, Aboriginals, yes, are most definitely anatomically African in origin. Yes, I don't know what you saying. Moroccan, clarify, man. Yeah, makes sense because you took in nonsense. Get me? All African peoples don't even have the same thing with each other necessarily. Like, what are we doing? And as we said, those people are old. They ain't original. They're just old. You know what I'm saying? But to be leaving somewhere and going somewhere 70,000, 80,000 years ago, you need to just like readdress your lies when you're talking about human movement around the planet and what we was doing and how organized we were. And you know what I mean? If we was making pottery and if we had spears, we was civilized. Like, bruv, this is just dunce. You know what I mean? But we go with it because like that's all they got. We just look at the evidence and look at it differently with our real eyes. You get it? Can't be sitting there blind and looking at stuff and information. Oh yeah. Oh, is that what they believe? Yeah. No, you have to analyze it. Say, okay, let's look at that Carmen. Look at this, a spearhead. No problem. Mo was organized enough to make spears and did cool. What's that supposed to mean? Is that a major advancement in an ancient society? You don't know. You guys weren't there. You guys never done such a thing. Create a civilization or community and did it from scratch. You had to look at other civilizations and did it and get ideas and did it there and then work it that way. But these are the originators of these type of things. Because we've been here for millions of years. Yeah. But if they want to say 300,000, cool, whatever, right? Sooner that'll change because wasn't that at the beginning? It was 180,000, then 200,000, and now we're at 300,000. Yeah. Something says a bone's gonna pop up soon. Yeah. Homo sapien bone that's older. Right. And that wouldn't be a surprise. That wouldn't be a surprise, man. But what they say is Neolithic and all of this and you know, some people just look like a little bit monkey-like, you know, you could say. Got a bigger ridge over their forehead and all of that, and you know, got this little button nose kind of thing. looking, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like a Tasmanian, or we can't say the modern day Aboriginal because a lot of them are mixed with the dirty Europeans that they brought over, the criminals and the prostitutes and that. You get me? And the violence and all of that, and the rape and all of that. So these are not the same people in their original form. You get what I'm saying? And they clearly wiped out whole races of people as well in that region. So it is what it is. Let me go meet.
Artifacts of the Amration demonstrate a trade network. Stone vessels indicate trade links with Lower Egypt. Obsidian may have come from the Ethiopian highlands. Other artifacts point towards materials coming from the Levant. There are a number of tools that have been excavated in and around these graves that show the use and modification of slate, flint, ivory, and bone to create everyday tools. Apart from these things, we don't really know a lot else about the Amration due to the limited amount of artifacts and sites from this period. It would stand to reason that they were carrying on with the many aspects of the lifestyles of their predecessors, often referred to as the Badarian for distinction. The Badarian were known for their domestication of cereal grasses and sheep and goats, and they were evidently hunting and fishing to supplement their diets. We also have evidence of slate pallets being used to grind down materials such as ochre and malachite in order to make paints, which would have been great for painting pots, but also great for painting faces, potentially necessary for striking fear into the hearts of invaders. Even though there is limited evidence at Amration sites, it could be relatively safe to assume that these Badarian practices may well have still been taking place. Gersian culture. The Gersian culture is referred to as the Nakada II culture and is believed to have supplanted the Amration culture sometime around 3500 BCE. We can continue to see the continuation of slate pallets being used for mixing paints. Tools and weapons, figurines, both human and animal. The most significant thing that strikes us in relation to the Gersian culture excavations is the difference with the graves, and this could be partially explained by the difference in the artifacts. The artifacts suggest a much stronger trade link is present. Gersians had a healthy trade with the Lower Egyptians down the river towards the delta. They also appear to have had a healthy trade with those peoples upriver, who we can refer to as the Nubians, as they come from the area which we now call the Nubian Desert in the modern day country of Sudan. The graves, in turn, seem to become more and more luxurious as the dates become more modern. Some of the graves were being decorated with wooden planks, plaster, mud bricks, and woven reed linings and matting. One of the tombs at a site called Hierakonpolis has a depiction of everyday humans and animals painted on the plaster wall of the tomb. This level of effort is an emergence, and to suggest that the individual to be buried in this grave would be of high standing would be supported by everything else that we have discovered about class-based societies naturally becoming a part of normal city life.
I'm passionate about three things: great taste in food, reducing waste, and helping people out at a time when we're all...
Hierakonpolis. The painted tombs have been found at a place called Hierakonpolis on the Nile River in Upper Egypt. Hierakonpolis is the city that is also historically referred to as Nekhen. It is possible that this site was occupied long before the Gerzer culture of the late 4th millennium BCE, but it is certainly significant to the Gerzer culture period. Some experts have suggested that between 5 and 10,000 people were living there before the dynastic era of ancient Egypt. The excavations made from the Hierakonpolis that date before dynastic Egyptian times are absolutely fascinating. Some of the individuals that were buried alongside considerable amounts of grave goods. In one case, an individual was buried alongside 20 other seemingly healthy individuals. Human sacrifice is something that has been suggested throughout the podcast series at various locations, but this particular grave points towards it strongly. Another incredible discovery at this site relates to exotic animals. The remains of baboons, hippopotamuses, hartebeest, elephants, and wildcats have been found, suggesting that someone was keeping a menagerie. Some experts suggest that the menagerie was a means of cementing status within the society. Maybe an early ruler believed that his people may show him much more respect if he showed them his pet elephant. One thing that we can see is that according to some of the animal remains, the humans could be quite violent towards them, and this may have been a means to keep the animals under control. Many bones show signs of healed injuries, which points us towards this suggestion. One of the artifacts found at Hierakonpolis is an ivory statue, which has actually been carved from a hippopotamus tooth, so therefore it is an entire foot long. Let's talk more about this painted tomb at Hierakonpolis. The tomb is called Tomb 100 and was excavated in around 1898 by Frederick W. Green, an English Egyptologist. The first important thing is that the mural clearly shows boats. So as much as we believe that Neolithic peoples may have transported domestic animals to islands such as Cyprus by boat, we here have further evidence that travelling by boat was not a surprising thing to come across during the Neolithic. Another image shows a man with a large weapon wielded above his head over 3 unfortunate individuals. This image is reminiscent of later images depicting pharaohs smiting individuals with a weapon. So we could be talking about an early ruler and maybe even the ruler who was intended for the grave. Yet another image shows a man standing between 2 animals, another iconic image which has been discovered on other artifacts and may point towards the influential power of a man who can restrain aggressive animals, maybe in a bid to win the obedience of his population. Maybe this was the same man keeping a menagerie in the city as a demonstration of status and ability. The painting suggests that the story could involve the conflict of 2 armies, with one group of peoples having red skin and the other having black skin. The animals associated with each side are also red and black, indicating that the colours are possibly not accurate to real skin colour, but simply as a means of artistic distinction. I have read a few accounts of the artwork and nobody is really sure what the battle is or who the belligerents are, but we can see that there does appear to be some form of ruling elite in this society, and that sea travel and warfare were not something to be surprised to see during the Neolithic. Sumerian culture. Already now we are seeing clues about the first signs of ancient Egypt emerging, but there is one more predynastic culture to explore, and that is the Sumerian, which is alternatively named Nakada III. This is referenced to have emerged around 3200 BCE. This is the period of history where Egyptologists believe that the formation of Egypt's first dynasty took place. It is also the period of history where we believe that populations were definitely irrigating the Nile River. One of the most influential cities of this period was Nakada itself. the city after which the cultures of Predynastic Egypt are named, and the city where we believe that the Amratian culture may have emerged possibly 1,000 years previously. So we know that there were two significant cities in Egypt at this time, and archaeology has supported this. Hierakonpolis was the southernmost one of the two, and if you travelled downriver around 60 to 70 miles, you would arrive at Nakada.
We thought our joys would be unending. We thought our light would never dim.
Now, last week, when we were discussing Mesopotamia, we reached a point where we discovered that the earliest signs of cuneiform, that is, the early Mesopotamian writings, were beginning to emerge. Well, we're about to find out that the same thing happened in Egypt. The first hieroglyphs were being used, which would become Egypt's first writings, and therefore the first sign of Egypt moving from prehistory to history itself. It is through the first writings of Egyptians that we know of another very important city involved in the birth of ancient Egypt. Thinis. Thinis is a lost city. We do not know its exact location, as it does not appear to have been found by anybody. However, we do know that according to the earliest writings, it must have existed. We do believe that it was quite closely linked to the known prehistoric city of Abydos, which is further downstream of the Nile River, and therefore it is believed that Thinis must have been nearby. It is believed that the city-states of Egypt by this time had started to converge politically until there were three major cities of influence in Upper Egypt. They were Hierakonpolis, or Nekhen, as it is otherwise known, Nakada, and Thinis, which was closely linked to Abydos. Now, it is very difficult to find out exactly what happened at that pivotal time when all the major city-states of Egypt united to become the first dynasty of Egypt. It appears that Nakada fell under the influence of Thinis, and then at some point Nekhen, otherwise known as Hierakonpolis, also joined up with Thinis, creating a...
Sorry, you see, this is what we're doing, man. The Indus Valley civilization is about 5,000 years ago, right? 5,000 years ago. What we're talking about is 8,000 and 10,000 years, and 7,000 down to 4,000 or 6,000 years when we're dealing with these people. So this is much older. I mean, the rivers always existed, you get it, but when so-called India was a piece of East Africa, was a long while ago still. You know what I mean? So no matter what we're trying to do, you can't separate yourself. Remember, you're a baby in this. Your people. You know what I'm saying? Your people are a baby in this. You got to know yourself, man. Yeah? As it's showing you, this is older than Egypt, man. This is before Egypt. What you know as modern Egypt, the oldest civilization on the planet. Shut up. You get it? Yeah. Now when they're dealing with the Egyptians now, they've gone back almost 10,000 years because of things they've discovered and thing after the time they put down, 4,000. That's dynastic. Pre-dynastic is what we're talking about. Dynastic means when the dynasty started. Egypt did not start then. Just the start of the dynasties, of the leaders of ruleship on from then on till the last one being the Greco-Romans. But we're talking before that, and we know life existed before that. And then also the start of the dynasties is the conjoining of Upper and Lower Egypt, meaning they already exist. So when man's making up these names for them, they're just the same people, but the man's not realized yet that, hold on, eventually yeah, you can put a name on them and say, yeah, this is that civilization, and they've always been there. They've always been those people. They move around, and ideas get spread, and but they were essentially the same people. It's not no new set of people, different set of people. Some other set of people just came into there. I don't know about all that. You get me? There can only be like different tribes or admixtures of the same types of people who reside in those regions even up to today. Do you get it? They just don't live in the arid parts. No one's living right out in the middle of the Sahara. It just doesn't make no sense. Or on the Giza Plateau, you know, because the way they irrigated it in ancient times, it seems the Nile water came all the way round the pyramids and all of that. There was, they organized it neatly. As you see in many parts of the world, there are people can balance the waterways and the monuments and all of that and living conditions, change it. You know what I mean? And as we know, the Sahara wasn't always desert. So, yeah. Events, supposedly, 5,000 years ago and all of that is what caused it. I beg to differ. After the deluge of about 8,000 years ago, after the ice age of 11,000 years ago, like, listen to the numbers they're talking about. But then when you're talking about the people and different people groups, they go back way further than that. As we said, for some 70, 80,000 years, other ones, 50,000 years, and all of this. And bruv, something ain't making no sense. So I'm not going to accept any of your, Indus Valley and all of that. That's crap, bro. Yeah, go and do your research and come back, man. You dunce. The fuck, man? To deal with this incompetence.
A united Upper Egypt. And it is at this point that we believe that the powerful Upper Egypt conquered Lower Egypt and created the first Egyptian dynasty, the first ruler. So, who was in charge?
We know who was in charge. It was Narmer Menes. As I said, the joining of Upper Lower was not a violent thing as well. This is a European interpretation again, like how they like to spin things and hope that it makes sense. You know what I mean? We assume, or we do, we this, we that, perhaps. Tell the truth, man. You don't know. And the only way you know anything is because the excellent records that these people kept. Mad.
Well, the man credited for unifying Egypt and founding the first dynasty is Menes. This is supported by the Abydos king list, which is inscribed on a wall of the temple of Seti I at the city of Abydos. It is also the name used by Manetho, who is believed to have been a priest and historian who lived in Egypt around 3,000 years later. However, if we go back to the work of Frederick W. Green, who we mentioned earlier in the podcast as the English Egyptologist who worked at Hierakonpolis, otherwise known as Nekhen, something very significant was found. The object is called the Narmer pallet, and it is a 2-foot-high siltstone pallet in the shape of a shield, and on both sides are hieroglyphic inscriptions which depict a character called Narmer as the man who unified Egypt. The thing is that the pallet is believed to be contemporary. Some seal impressions at the tombs of pharaohs in Abydos also name Narmer as the first pharaoh. So where do we go with this? Is it Menes or is it Narmer?
It's the same person.
It is so confusing that I read a text from a children's journal because we talk to children.
It's so dumb. Menes, Narmer, same individual. Yeah. But what this seal is also in Mesopotamia and is the image of the supposed Scorpion King, right? Who is Narmer or Menes, who conquered those ends. As I said earlier, he went up back up the Levant and said, listen, taking my shit back, blah, blah, blah. You lot know who's in charge. Yeah, cool, safe. Yeah, and then kept it moving. Boom, to go back home and say, listen, my end has been sorted. Everything on my side of the what we're calling Lower Egypt is sorted. All that Mesopotamian, anyone up there, they know who's boss, right? Cool. And then now we can deal with the upper Egyptians, yeah, who know their thing is way different heritage and all of that. To get it, that's how you can make a new dynasty or dynasty number one, which is based on royal individuals. Do you get what I'm saying? So he would have married a queen from Upper Egypt. He's the king of Lower Egypt. Yeah, the king of Upper Egypt would have passed his daughter, and boom, and that would have been the first dynasty. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's not the first dynasty of these peoples. You know what I mean? And why are you calling them Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt? Because they've probably got different names. You know what I'm saying? They don't deal with the titles that the later Europeans decided to put on them. So this is madness.
In simple and understandable terms, and I, for one, think that that's the best way. It says that Narmer may be the same person as Menes. Menes means he who endures, and that may simply be a title given to Narmer.
Hey,
unfortunately, that's the very best I can do for you all regarding that vital piece of information about the beginnings of dynastic Egypt.
Nice one to my stick. Predynastic, you know what I mean, geese? Bloody hell. Save the children. Now, anybody want to jump on, man? Because I got to go out. So I need some of my moderators or some ping to jump on and, you know what I mean, take control for a little piece. I'll only be like half an hour in that, but I need to pop out, man. If not, I'll just have to close the stream and you get me. You'll have to wait for Sunday and that, because boy, I'm getting that later as well, man. You know what I mean? Because the sun's shining and yeah, we got true events, man. We in the park, man, doing some stuffs, loads of games, activities, and If you've seen the flyer, if you've seen the thing, if you've been invited, yeah, we're gonna see you there. But yeah, man, people jump on, man. And some of my mods probably on the move. yeah, they're probably on the move and that. Let's get it. So, sure. Yeah, that was interesting. Get me. But I just like the thing about the timelines and that. It's just so effed up. You know what I mean? And sometimes how they relay the information, you just got to pick bits, good bits out of it. We're not saying it's perfect, you know. But this is how some people think, you know. We can't stay fixed to the thoughts of other people. You have to have your own thoughts. Come to your own conclusions about things. It's very good to learn stuff and get information, but this don't get drawn in, don't get sucked in, man. I found that happened when we went from explicit DVDs to YouTube, where now all the information was accessible, and some people went crazy with it. It was like information overload. Do you know I'm a Moor? Do you know I'm a yeah, kind of like, yeah, like maybe 7-8 years prior to you even knowing what that is. Oh, because you got YouTube now. All right, go on, tell me something. And like everything the guy was telling me was like things I'd already told him and on videos I'd already seen and DVDs and lectures and all of that and explicit, you know, government, you know, that government warning at the beginning of the DVD and that, you know what I mean? Ex-CIA, ex this one, ex that one. You know what I mean? You wait till I start going into them Al Bieleks and, you know, all of them type of guys, bros. Philadelphia Project and Manhattan Project and that. And Nikola Tesla and that. I started that shit. Yeah. I was so cold with it that one of my youngers even named himself Tesla's Ghost as his rap name. You know what I mean? Because I used to give out that knowledge. I used to have the the Tesla DVDs and like, yeah, boom. Yeah, you heard about Tesla? They'll be like, no. Be like, don't know about the Tesla coil. Don't know about the big array that he was trying to make. You know what I mean? Laser kind of thing. You know what I mean? Enhancing and drawing into free energy and that. No. All right, hold this DVD. Boom. That's how I work. £5 though. £5 though. Knowledge ain't free, bro. You get what I'm saying? Right. That's what I used to do in my shop. So, but I would have had to have watched them, and you know what I mean, like absorb the information and made sense. You know, I sat down with my friend and we always like analyze these things. Did you watch that video last night? Yeah, man. What do you think? Well, this bit was on point. That bit we need to research. This bit we need to do. And that's how I've been working for years with my business partner. Like while we was at work, you know, that was our pastime. The knowledge and the information, and you know, we had guys from all far and wide, females also, but guys from all far and wide coming to get the DVDs. And like, yeah, we had some white boys from around Camden or something. They were like, yeah. Guy said, yeah. Someone said, yeah, you sell them DVDs. I was like, yeah, mate. And he was like, yeah, man, the government. Rah, 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 rah. I was like, okay. You that level, right? You there, you woke, kind of. You know what I mean? As far as I was concerned at the time. You know what I mean? It opened my eyes to the people that would be interested in this type of information. That's what it was. And I had it on display, you know, like a big shelf and all of that. Yeah, get your knowledge, man. Get your DVDs, man. Whatever you want. You know what I mean? We ain't selling movies. You know, we're selling knowledge and information. David Icke was like a top seller in that back in the day, you know? Him and Credo Mutua and that. Like, yeah. You got that DVD, yeah? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You got that one. Oh, he's lecturing Brixton. Oh, he's you know? So there was it's so much. So much, man. I'm glad that I got into it when I got into it, but I wish I was even younger. Imagine what I would know now, you know? That's why I give that energy to my younger brothers like Zulu and that. You know what I mean? I want them to be more smarter and more aware of what's going on than me. It's gonna be difficult because you know we old and wise now. Once you pass 40, they say that's the age of wisdom, right? So, you know, I do feel wise and I do feel dumb. As I said, the more you learn, the less you know. So, meaning that the more you learn, the more questions there are. You learn what you needed to learn. What's the meaning of life? You learned that. Now, who created the meaning of life now? See, another question. You know what I'm saying? So you can never learn everything. But definitely it's good to keep an open mind and be ready for information. And filter it yourself, because like there's a lot of rubbish out there, man. A lot of people chatting was. There's a lot of people casting spells just by speaking. It's crazy. But no one not jumping on you. I'm serious, you know. I have to go down the road. I can put a video on until I come back. Would that be okay? As long as you know I ain't here. Yeah, I think that could work. I'll do that. And if any of my mods see what's going on and decide to jump on, we'd be good, huh? Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I'm sure I got a video that's good. Good hour. Oh yeah, let me go to my X-Files. See if you're ready for that. See if YouTube don't kick my head in. Yeah, they tried it with the Yeti one, you know. They tried to like say, yeah, my video can't be played in America. That is crazy, isn't it? Shit, X-Files is deep, man. Philadelphia Project. Do you not know about Valiant 4? Maybe that's you're not ready for that yet. Should I start you like Trying to think. Right. Oh my God. Nah. All right. What do you hear? Al Bielek telling their old story. Yeah. Whatever, man. Jump on, man. You get me? Because I need to go right this in a minute. But what I'm going to do is play Al Bielek. If you don't know about Al Bielek, this is a guy who supposedly traveled back in time, him and his brother, after this experiment called the Philadelphia or the Montauk Project, where they was on a boat and they were trying to make this boat invisible. Yeah. And it basically went wrong. Him and his brother jumped off the ship into the water and landed on grass. And back in 1980 something or something like that. And they saw planes, they saw stuff, because this is 1940 something that this happened, or 1930s or whatever. Yeah. But both of them, they went through this experience, and basically they said these men realized what happened. They took to a military base. They was told, this is what's happened to you. You know what I mean? You've just gone forward in time. We don't know how it's happened, blah, blah, blah. They explained about the project that they was on and what happened to the people on the ship and all of this, right? That they had to jump off. And they sent them back. But what they did, they reverted them, sent them back younger as babies to an earlier time to different parents. And this is how their names change. You get what I'm saying? So it's crazy. It's a mad story. But yeah, man, gonna let you watch this. Listen to the man himself, Al Bielek. Right, I'll be back, guys.
A number of things. Number one, I had to leave the house where I was because the owner was making major changes to the house, and it was no longer going to be a bedroom for me, so I had to leave.
I see.
I had friends back here in Atlanta and other things already cooking, which made it fairly logical for me to come to Atlanta. So here I am.
All right. This is going to take a lot of preparation, I guess, in the way of getting started. but you were involved in the Philadelphia experiment, and I guess people need to find out at the start of the program here a little bit about Al Bielek, who you are, who you were then, and how you got involved in all that.
Okay. Legally, my name is Al Bielek. My birth certificate says I was born on the 31st of March, 1927, which, of course, for many years I accepted as the gospel truth until various events occurred, starting in 1986 and then culminating in 1988 with my recollection of the fact that I was involved with the Philadelphia experiment. And simultaneously, my name was not Al Bielek, but Edward Cameron. And that's a long story as to how that was changed. I was originally and actually born on the 4th of August, 1916, as Edward Cameron, son of Alexander Duncan Cameron Sr., and his then live-in wife, whom he later left, and he was a Navy man himself at that time. He had been in the Navy since we assumed sometime around 1910, because all of those records have disappeared and have not been able to find any of them, either when he went in the Navy or he left, though we do know when he left the Navy, which was December 31st, 1939. He had a medical condition, and he was given a medical outage and a pension. In any case, father was a Navy man for many years. We don't know too much about what he did in the Navy, other than we have one picture of him taken in 1917, showing him in his first-class petty officer's uniform. Beyond that, we have no records of anything of what he did in the Navy. He turns up again in 1941 in the Coast Guard, but as a volunteer officer with World War II, and that's part of the story of the Philadelphia experiment. Now, I was born in 1916. I have a half-brother named Duncan Cameron. He was born in 1917, May, as I remember. And I might add, all of the records for both of us in that period have disappeared, very nicely exhumed and erased by various government services who are specially appointed for those tasks.
So they have literally erased your identity?
Totally, as Edward Cameron, and as the original Duncan Cameron also. The whole history of that is gone. Going to the lengths of going to try to trace birth certificates under my original name. I got no response even from the state of New York after 9 months. And the only one who knows anything at all about the earlier family history is a historian, actually a town historian in Bayshore, Long Island, who I finally was able to track down, this was well over a year ago. And he knew a great deal about the early family history, but no place in that record does anything show up about Duncan Cameron or Edward Cameron having been born in 1916 and 17. Yet as a virtually complete history of father, he knew that he had been involved in the Navy. He knew he would get out on December 31st, 1929, and the reasons. And there's a lot of pictures of father during that period doing racing salutes on the Long Island regattas all through the period of the 30s.
Well, how did you first find out, Al, that you were not the person you thought you were?
That came to me as rather a shock when in January of 1988, one Saturday night, I was watching television very late at night on HBO, and I was about to retire at 4 a.m. in the morning when I came on and said the next feature of the evening will be the Philadelphia experiment. Well, I missed it when the movie went around. It stayed on the circuit for about 2 weeks, which isn't very long, in August of 1984. And I did not know of the video. I had a great interest in the subject because for years I've been researching the subject of the Philadelphia experiment. It had a great fascination for me. Even helped research the subject with Ivan T. Sanderson when he was still alive. And I had to stay up to see it. So I did. And within the first 15 minutes, it hit me like an atom bomb, and I realized I was involved in that in some way. And it took a while for it to filter down past the metal blocks which were installed. It had been years ago. And that's part of the long story. In any case, at that point I knew I was involved with it, and it took some time for it to filter down as to which of the two principal characters I was. The better-looking one turned out to be my brother, Duncan. I had a role model for him, and he was fairly well played by Michael Paré, and it was a fairly good look-alike for my brother. myself, the person that played that part, was not well played in terms of being a physical lookalike, but nonetheless, the part portrayal was accurate. I had a pregnant girlfriend at that time, whom I later married.
So you're saying most aspects of the movie, The Philadelphia Experiment, were accurate?
Up through the first 15 minutes. Where it deviated from the actual facts was after we returned, actually did not return, we went to Montauk, Long Island. Now in the movie they showed it as being out in Wendover, Utah, at the old Wendover Air Force Base where they arrived, and the helicopter blew up. It was a helicopter, but it didn't blow up. And the fence was destroyed, and we walked through it and wandered off through the rest of the story, the Philadelphia Experiment as portrayed in the movie. That part is not factual. What was fact was that we arrived there, stayed inside the fence, and were grabbed by MPs immediately, not 3 days or 4 days, a week later. In any case, that part awakened my dormant memories, and after a lot of further memory searching and memories coming up, and a lot of further research, I've been able to put together most of the story. Most of it is from memory. Some of it is from contact with other people who remember me from that period. And that includes both one former naval officer who is still alive, one of the few that is still alive.
I was about to ask, Al, when you die, who's going to be left, if anybody, if it were to occur today, who would tell the story as you're able to tell it?
The only one who would know any part of the story today would be one retired naval officer living in New York City, and my brother Duncan, the younger brother, who remembers a good part of the story, it having been resurrected under hypnosis. And he is not one, however, to go around the circuit doing lecturing. He prefers to be somewhat retiring and makes little effort not doing any lectures. He's been at one or two with me, but
okay. What about the retired naval officer in New York? Has he been on the circuit talking about this at all?
He has not. He is not reluctant to tell a story if somebody asks, but I and a person by the name of Preston Nichols are the only ones that ever asked him. And how I came to know of his involvement with it was the fact that Preston Nichols knew him, and somebody one time, and this was back in 1988, the subject matter came up at the Philadelphia Experiment. Act was 89, January, February. And he says, oh, I know all about it. He says, how come? He says, I was there. And Preston says, I've got to get you on the phone with somebody. So we arranged a conference call. And I was back in 1989, and he says, I'm introducing you to this gentleman who says that he knows of the Philadelphia Experiment, so you talk with him, and so I'll remain on the line. So we talked for 10 or 15 minutes, and finally this gentleman, whose name I don't want to use in the air without his permission, says to me, says, keep talking. And I did, and he says, okay. So I finally asked him, he says, do you remember me by any chance? He says, yes. He says, I recognize your voice. I had not met this man personally at that time. And I said, you remember my voice? He said, yes. I said, as part of the Philadelphia Experiment? He said, yes. I said, under the name of Al Bielek? He says, absolutely not. Well, what name do you remember me as? And he says, well, you're asking me to go back 45 years of history. He did, and he came up with the name Edward Cameron.
Oh, bang. So there you go.
Yeah, this was on the phone without meeting me face to face, based on my voice only. So that was rather phenomenal in itself. And I've since met other people who are technically involved with the experiment in one phase or another who remember the whole thing. They knew I was there. They knew many aspects of it in terms of the technical expertise required to produce the equipment for the experiment and what was theoretically behind it. Two of the people involved, one was on staff at the Institute of Advanced Study and since died. The other one, fairly recently, last May, was a naval officer who knew all about it, but he died in a nursing home. I did not ever get to see him.
Boy. All right, Al, I'm going to ask you to hold on for a second, and we're going to start the story from the beginning here.
Okay.
In just a moment. So stand by, Al Bielek. We are speaking with Al Bielek, who sounds as though he may be the last of those to tell the story of the Philadelphia Experiment, a story you're about to hear. And now back all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, and Al Bielek. Hold on, let me move you once again, Al. Let me move you over here. Al Bielek, all the way from Atlanta. Al, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. All right. Now, the Philadelphia experiment itself. You were in the Navy, and how in the world did you get involved in this, and what was it?
Well, it's a very long story, and let's begin really at the beginning of this, technically. The Philadelphia experiment didn't begin with that name. It began as a research project entitled Project Invisibility, and was a private research project being undertaken initially by Nikola Tesla, Dr. John Hutchinson, who was then dean of the University of Chicago, and a staff physicist, Dr. Emil Kurtenauer, and this was in the year 1931. And the long history of Tesla, of course, is a very long story to tell in itself. But briefly, he had been involved, of course, in many years of research himself, and his history is available from other sources. He had this idea, and these three came together in Chicago. The idea, how do you make an object invisible? There's been a lot of popular press representation of that idea at that time, making objects invisible. But for whatever reason, these three men came together with the paper study, in essence. How can you do it? Well, they didn't achieve much of anything at that time, and in 1934, the project, even though it had been funded at the beginning with some naval research money from the Office of Naval Engineering, as it was then called, changed its name to the Office of Naval Research in 1946.
By the way, Al, is there any documentation of that from the Navy, or is that still secret?
They still classify it as secret. There's no information available from the Navy. They deny to this day that the project ever happened.
But they were trying. They were researching it and spending money on it.
Yes. Now, in 1933, one of the things that happened, of course, was Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected 32nd President of the United States. And he already knew Tesla from 1917 because in the period of World War I, when we became involved, he was Undersecretary of the Navy, that is, Roosevelt. And he invited Tesla to Washington and asked him if he would do some work for the Navy Department of the government to advance the progress of the war, and Tesla readily agreed. So the two were friends from that period of 1917. Roosevelt becomes president in 1933 and invites Tesla to Washington and exchange mementos and basically asks him, would you like to be director of the project you are working on? And he says, that's fine with me. So Roosevelt named him director of the project. In 1934, it was transferred out of Chicago to the Institute of Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey, which was rather newly formed. It had been brought together and became active in 1933 with four initial staff members. And those four initial members were Albert Einstein, Dr. John von Neumann, Dr. Alexander Veblen, Dr. Alexander, and Dr. Oswald Veblen. They were the four original staff members. Many more came later.
Wow.
In those days, the Institute was the premier think tank of the world, and they did a lot of very, very original research. The project was transferred there in 1934, and they continued working on it and built some hardware with their first initial test in 1936.
What avenue technically were they following then, Al? They were charged with making an object invisible.
The avenues that they were following technically was we're looking at the whole structure of the matrix of space-time, and can you manipulate an object in terms of its time location or its time phase in our reality to the point where it fades from sight? That was the basic approach.
And literally then goes to another time or dimension or whatever?
Not totally. It could go, with the right hardware, it could go to another time, which would be time travel. They didn't want time travel. They wanted invisibility, which required, you might say, a phasing out of the visible region of reality while it's still physically, it was here.
So then the object actually did not leave this time. It just began the transition that would be time travel if you continued.
Correct. That was the approach at that time. And the mathematics that supported it were very involved. It involved earlier work that had been done by many people. I won't go into the history of it, but one of the principals that set up the math was a Dr. David Hilbert from Germany, who was famous for his multiple space, multiple reality mathematics. And Dr. John von Neumann, who himself was a premier mathematician, In many respects, I think he was ahead of Einstein because he could build hardware. Einstein didn't know a transistor or a tube from a screwdriver. He was an excellent theoretician, but he knew nothing of practical matters in terms of designing equipment.
Yeah, not hands-on.
Right. Neumann was hands-on, which was a rare thing for a mathematician. He had a PhD in math from 1926 in Europe and came to the U.S. in 1930, taught at Princeton for 3 years as an adjunct professor in the graduate school, and then was invited to join the staff in 1933 along with the other three I named. Einstein, just as a curiosity, also left Germany in 1930, but he did not go directly to the Institute. He went actually to Caltech and taught there for a number of years, 3 years, and was in Pasadena, California. And it's a long story how he got out of Germany. He was smuggled out by friends. The National Socialist Party did not want him to leave. They considered him a national asset. But after 3 years in the West Coast, he was invited to join the Institute in 1933, and he did. He was there till his death in 1955.
So you had some of the best minds in the world at that time working on the project.
That is correct. And the Institute was renowned then for being a think tank. It is no longer. It is, we'll go into what it does now. It's still there, it still exists. But it is not doing the same kind of work. It did many research projects at that time, privately funded. And the Invisibility study was supported by Navy grants and research money, but it was a private research project and was not classified at that time. In 1936, they had their first hardware test, was partly successful, which enough indication that they were getting results to continue their research in that direction. And they continued with this until 1940 when they had a fully successful test at the Brooklyn Navy Yard with a small tender.
Well, I assume before they tested on a ship that they were testing on smaller objects in a lab environment. Isn't that correct?
That was correct. As they were starting to get results, they built an equipment sufficiently large to attempt to make a ship, a tender, approximately 250 tons invisible.
Wow.
They put the critical equipment on board the deck of that ship, and they had other heavy equipment, which is on two other ships adjacent, one starboard, one port. No one was on board the test vehicle, and they ran the equipment that was on board that ship on long cables because they didn't really know for sure what would happen.
All right, Al, again, I've got to ask you to pause, and I'll reset you right after this break, all right?
Fine. Okay.
Stand by. You're listening to Coast to Coast AM on the CBC Radio Network. I'm Art Bell. My guest is Al Bielek, and there's more coming up in just a moment.
Radio Network. We own the night. And now, for the best in live two-way talk radio, here's your host, Art Bell.
All right, back to it. Al Bielek is our guest subject, the Philadelphia experiment, subject of the movie, books. And here's a man who was really there, and he's going to tell you that story. His name is Al Bielek. Back now to Mr. Bielek in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Al. You're back on the air again.
Yes.
All right. Again, taking you back a little bit, they were, before we get to the ships, they were experimenting on smaller objects. Can you give me any technical details on how they were, what process they were using, and how far they actually got in the lab?
Well, I can't tell you much about how far they got in the lab because I was not part of the project until 1940, actually January 1940, along with my brother, before the Brooklyn Navy Yard test. Now, to give you a brief rundown of the technical aspects of this, one has to understand that, first of all, we are not living in a three-dimensional universe or even a four-dimensional, it's five-dimensional. The man who first technically explored this possibility was a man by the name of P.D. Uspensky, a Russian mathematician who wrote a book in 1931 entitled Tertium Organum, which in English is a new model of the universe. And he described in there the fact that we are in a five-dimensional universe structure. Fourth dimension, of course, has been well defined as time, but it took Einstein with the unified field theory and others examining this to understand that the fifth dimension is also time, but it is the next up vector, if you will, the next higher order, called T2 in mathematical notation, which is the vector which controls T1, or the flow rate of time as we measure it with a clock. And T2 describes, speaking again mathematically, a helix, a corkscrew through time, if you will. The forward motion is the rate which we measure as time in the T1 mode, or at the clock, if you will. But by manipulating the corkscrew, the rate at which that second vector at right angles to the first one of time moves, you control the rate of flow of time.
Well, Al, I've got to stop you because I understand, I think I can understand the flow of time, or what you're calling T1,
yes,
or what we see go by on the clock every day.
Right.
That I can understand, laid out like a long carpet running endlessly into our future. That I understand. The second T2 effect on T1, I don't yet understand.
Okay, well, let me give you another analogy, a model. You've seen, I'm sure, these kids' toys, the long coiled spring where you hold at one end and you can jog it at one end, and you see this motion, this wave through the coil as it goes to the other end and bounces back.
You're talking about a slinky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a coil. Well, if you take this thing and close it in a loop like a donut, which is what Einstein said, we are living in a closed universe, everything is in a circle, including time, then you have a little bit of an idea of what we were dealing with. It's like a sleazy, except what we were doing, or attempting to do, and eventually did succeed in doing, was to enter this thing at some point along the edge of what we call our reality and create an artificial field which would affect within that field only the flow rate of time. By affecting T2, you affect T1, and you can then affect the position where that object, in this case a ship, was on the edge of the coil of time, as we call it. I'm speaking mathematically, of course.
All right, I think I've almost got this.
Okay. Now, what they were doing was by very complex fields affecting the time flow rate, and if you start to move the object around the edge, it starts to go out of our reality into the next one. You have to also understand that there are multiple realities involved in our universe, and they're all interrelated, but they're interrelated by being phased out of our reference, phased out in time by at least 90 degrees into another reality.
All right. Al, would that be, again, staying with the analogy of the slinky then, would that be, instead of traveling along the surface of the slinky and going around and around and around and around, it is as though you're jumping from one link to the other link directly without traveling the entire path? Is that?
That is correct.
All right.
Now that you can again look at that in terms of another analogy, quantum physics, which in the modern analysis using quanta, is not only have quanta of energy and quanta of matter, you have quanta of time according to that theory. And it is in a discrete little jump, as it were, which fits quite well the sleazy model. What we were attempting to do, and did eventually do, was to take an object, create a field around it, and move it in relation to the reality which we normally exist in, move it part way out. And if you get far enough along that edge, the sleazy, so to speak, what happens is the electromagnetic energy, called light, and also radio waves, particularly the higher frequencies that we use for radar, no longer are reflected by the object. And if they pass straight through it or around it, you can do it either way. There's no energy reflected. The object is invisible because it requires a return of some kind of energy so that you know that the object is there.
But not invisible necessarily at that point to the eye?
Yes, invisible to the eye also.
Oh, okay, so gone.
Gone so far as you can see. And that was what they did in 1940 at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. They made the object invisible to eye, to a camera, and also at that time it would have been invisible to radar, but radar was not of a major development yet in 1940, even though the Navy had been working on radar systems from 1938 and had some on board ship, experimental. By 1943, of course, radar was well developed. We had excellent radar. The Germans did, the Russians did,
right,
and so forth.
All right. Again, what I want to understand is technically how this is done. In other words,
Okay.
What actual process do you use on an object?
All right. The basic theory, which was developed at that time, partly in accordance with Einstein's unified field theory, which does exist and is alive and well, and is never in the status of being incomplete. It was stated that way to the public and was completed about 1938 and given to the government, and we had access to it at the Institute. all of that says, to make it simple, or try to make it simple, is that all of the elements of our universe, the energies which we normally consider, the electric field, the magnetic field, the gravitic field, if you will, which it is a field, are all interrelated in such a manner that you have a fourth element which is also locked into them, and that is time. If you manipulate any three of those, you can affect the fourth.
All
In this case, the one we wanted to affect was time.
Right.
So if you know how to interact between the electric field, the magnetic field, and the gravitic field, you can affect time. And that, of course, refers to a limited area in which you can affect those three fields.
Through what means?
Basically, electromagnetic manipulations. In terms also of certain mathematical constants which relate to the Earth's constants, and one of the main constants here on Earth, which is used to generate and to predict window frequencies for certain phenomena, is the mathematical function of pi over 2. That is one of the keys, 1/2 pi, if you will. Multiples thereof. I won't go into that as a long mathematical dissertation, but basically any frequency involved, which is pi over 2, is active in a special sense. What they were doing was generating an electric field through means of a radio transmitter, which generates an enormous electric field from an antenna, depending on the power level.
Well, an RF field, do you know at what
Yes, an RF field, basically.
Do you know?
Electric
yeah.
component.
Okay, Al. At what frequency was this radio frequency?
Radio frequency was operating basically at 160 megahertz, but it was modulated. The earlier system developed by Tesla for the first test was what they call an analog system, fully on but modulated with special frequencies. But it had more than a RF field or electric field component. It also had magnetic fields, where you had a rotating magnetic field as well as a rotating electric field.
All right, you're ahead of me a little bit. 160 megahertz, that's typically where the police and the fire departments are very close to where they operate.
Today,
that's right.
Back in 1942, 43,
that was a
cutting edge of technology.
Absolutely.
That was the frequency the radar systems operated at in those days.
All right. Yeah, I think that's right. As a matter of fact, it's right. And then they moved up into the 400 megahertz.
That's right, after the war.
All right. So you've got radio frequency at 160 megahertz. Do you know what mode of transmission it was? AM, FM, pulse?
It was AM in the first system, pulsed in the second system, developed by John von Neumann. I'll have to go into the history of that, how that came about. But in any case, we were using AM with 4 levels of modulation. And it was a quadrophase transmission system, i.e. there were 4 antennas designed so that they would produce a rotating field with 4 lobes. And they rotated counterclockwise. And there was a special modulation on it. And that, in the initial system, was 4 transmitters at 500 kW each.
500 kW?
Correct.
500,000 watts?
That's right.
Wow.
That is not for the initial test in 1940, but for what was designed for the Eldridge.
That's a lot of power.
That's a lot of power. And you had 4 coils on the deck of the ship, which were specially designed Tesla coils, designed by Tesla, primary only, which was a conical shape. It was narrow at the top and much broader at the base.
Uh-huh.
It was hollow copper tubing, water-cooled. It was about 1.5 inches in diameter, and it was pumped from both, direct connected to the generators, which were below deck. There were 2 major generators, 75 kVA each, and there were 4 outputs, 2 from each generator. They had to be very carefully phased also to produce a rotating magnetic field within the electric field.
All right, so these were producing the magnetic element.
That is correct.
4 of them.
Correct. Now, the 2 of those interacting together at a certain rate and ratio will affect the gravitic field, particularly if you have enough power, and that's one of the reasons they wanted enough power for this. The mathematics of this are still buried and classified, and I do not, at this point, recall what the math was, because certain other things happened to me, which I will go into as I develop the story. But that was basically the system that we were using. It affected the gravitic field, and the 3 of them would produce essentially a rotating field, which was looking, if you wanted to take a plane view of it, look down on it, looked like a donut. And the ship was in the hole, if you will.
I understand. I guess what I want to understand now is, so you've got 4 devices creating a magnetic field.
Right.
And you've got 4 antennae creating an RF field at 160 megahertz, and all of this somehow interacting. Were the magnetic fields also in rotation, or were they constant?
No, they were rotating also. One inside the other at a different rate of speed. Actually, one was rotating at twice the speed of the other, but both rotating counterclockwise.
Wow. All right, RF, you've got RF, you've got the magnetic element. Was there anything else, or was it just those 2 elements together?
It was those 2 elements together. There was nothing else directly involved other than the fact, of course, the fields being generated had the lower half truncated by the seawater, because seawater is the most excellent absorber of both RF energy and magnetic energy. Magnetic fields do not propagate well through seawater. They do, but they're attenuated rather rapidly. In any case, that was the basic idea. I'll not attempt to go into any mathematics on this.
Do you know offhand how much power was directed toward the magnetic fields? We know in the case of the RF it was 500 kilowatts per.
It was about 150 kVA total.
All right.
They were looking at to each coil, you were looking at about 37.5 kilowatts kVA, round figure.
Okay.
You can't say kilowatts because that refers to DC. kVA is AC with what the phase angles or power factor may be involved.
All right. At this point, Tesla was involved in the experiment, correct?
That is correct. He was the first director, and he remained a director through this period of time. Now, let me go into my history, how I became involved, as well as my brother.
Okay.
I was born, as I said, in August 1916. My brother in May of 1917. Father was a Navy man, of course, and the family had a lot of money. Earlier on, they had married into the Arnold Constable family, or Auntie Arnold, as we called her, originally a Cameron, had married into that family at a much earlier age. And father was a result of one of those. I can't go into the whole lineage. And in the period prior to World War I, he, as a Navy man, had 2 live-in women. First 2 wives, but they were common law. One I was born by one and Duncan by the other. And when 1917 came along and we became involved in the war, the Navy tapped him on the shoulder and said, "You're going to sea now," and he abandoned those 2 wives. So we were raised by Auntie Arnold in the big house in Long Island, which is at West Islip. And finished our common school education, if you will. Father encouraged us. We saw him about once a year. To get a good education, and there was no lack of money, so we went to college. I went initially to Princeton, took a bachelor's degree there, and was in my master's. I met Dr. John von Neumann, who was on campus, and he took considerable interest in me and suggested that, well, if you're going to get a PhD, I'll encourage you most thoroughly, but I think you would do better to go to Harvard. It's a better school, and so forth. So I went to Harvard for my doctoral work. And Duncan, in the meantime, for whatever reason, went to the University of Edinburgh at Edinburgh, Scotland. We both took our PhDs in the summer of 1939. And, of course, Father congratulated us. He was long since out of the Navy. And he arranged for us to enlist in the Navy and follow in Father's footsteps. So in September 1939, we both enlisted in the Navy in Church Street, New York. Went through a special 90-day training school for officers because we were given commissions of Lieutenant JG on enlistment. And this 90-day wonder school, there are all kinds of names have been appended to these particular schools, or special schools for those to go to special assignments.
Yes.
We didn't know where we were going to go or what was going to happen until after it had been completed, the work there had been completed, we were assigned to the Institute of Advanced Study in January 1940.
What were you actually going to be in the Navy, Al, or what did you think you were going to do in the Navy? How about that?
We didn't really know. We only knew that we were taking on probably careers in the Navy. And since we both had PhDs in physics, we assumed it would be some technical role, which was, of course, a correct assumption. And little did we know of Father's involvement in the background. We've done a lot of research on this since. He has died in 1981. He was born in 1891. He was 90 when he passed on. Father, after he left the Navy in 1929, was in some manner, somehow, still involved with the military, with intelligence, with espionage, and many things. We have yet to uncover the whole history, but we know that he was involved in smuggling Nazi Jewish science, ex-Nazi or Jewish scientists out from under the noses of the Germans in Germany from 1933 until 1942. We've been able to determine that about 9 were brought over through the auspices of the company store, if you will, and I don't mean a 3-letter company, but Arnold Constable. And through the company store, a long story in itself. And they stayed in Long Island undercover. When the war was over, they all went to work in special projects at Brookhaven National Laboratories, which is another story that comes after the Philadelphia experiment. Father was involved in a lot of things. We have yet to track it all down. But he was knowledgeable as to what was coming up, and he arranged for us to join the Navy, and apparently for us to become assigned to the Philadelphia experiment. We don't know that as a fact, but it appears that way.
All right.
We joined the Institute in 1940, and we were brash young guys, thought we knew all about physics. Then we find out when we go to the Institute, where they're working on the cutting edge of projects which we never heard of in school, and mathematics we never heard of, von Neumann's special mathematics and other things, including unified field theory, we suddenly found out we didn't really know much of anything. And we were brought up to speed. And this was prior to the Brooklyn Navy Yard test. We found out what they were doing and what they were attempting to do. And von Neumann himself instructed us. We met, of course, occasionally Tesla, who was working on other projects in his own labs and was there part-time at the Institute. In any case, came the test in 1940 at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, fully successful. The Navy classifies the project, calls it Project Rainbow, and we all had to get clearances. And then we found ourselves shuttling between the Institute and the Philadelphia Navy Yard, where they set up offices in one of the buildings overlooking the harbor for all the classified projects, including this one.
Did you know at that time, Al, what it was that they were going to involve you in? I mean, did they tell you the whole story, or were you just sort of getting pieces of it as you needed to know?
No, we knew the whole story theoretically because it was not a classified project until the successful test in the Brooklyn Navy Yard.
Ah, all right,
so we
Al.
knew the whole story of what they were trying to do and the theory that was involved.
All right, Al, we're on a network. I've got to pause again, so hold it right there for a sec.
Sure.
From the Kingdom of Nye, this is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell on the CBC Radio Network.
Well, good morning. Yes, this is it. Al Bielek is here. He's all the way out in Atlanta, Georgia, but that doesn't make any difference. Time and space, we just zip right through it to satellites to come to you, and he's got quite a story to tell. It is the story of the Philadelphia experiment, an effort to get an entire ship to disappear, which they did. And we're about to get that story in a second. We've, up until this point, had a lot of technical details about how it was accomplished, how it was researched, who worked on it, and all the rest of that. And incidentally, I just got a fax here, which just came through. And if you have a fax, if you want to fax a question into Al Bielek, you can fax it in. But here's what I got already. Art, please mention how to get audio tapes of this program early. Many of us can't listen to the whole thing at this time. Thanks. All right. To get a copy of this program, you can call area code 503-664-7966. Back now to Al Bielek, no doubt with a cup of coffee in his hand. Good morning, Al.
Good morning. Yes, I have a cup of coffee.
Well, good. I'm glad to know that that you're okay. It's what, a little after 4 o'clock in the morning in Atlanta.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us at this weird hour. That was really nice of you. All right, we're up to the point of actually telling what happened, I guess. So,
right.
What did happen?
Okay, with the test of the Brooklyn Navy Yard with a tender, and I might point out that was very important, no personnel were on board that ship during the test. It was fully successful. It became invisible. And at that point, the Navy said, we have a successful test. They took over the project, classified it, called it Project Rainbow. And of course, all personnel connected with the project, including Duncan, my brother, and myself, had to have clearances, which was no problem. And they had special offices in the Philadelphia Navy Yard for the classified project, so we shuttled back and forth.
Did you witness, were you a witness to the first one, Al?
As I recall now, no, I was not a witness to that. Now, what happened at that point, of course, was went up and down the line, and eventually President Roosevelt heard about it. He was elated, and he says to Mr. Tesla, says, Nicola, says, I'm giving you now a real ship to make invisible. I'm loaning you a battleship. Says, if you can make that invisible, you can make anything invisible.
All right, there's where I'm going to stop you, Al. I've got a couple things to do. Rest for a moment. We'll be right back to you. All right, I believe that we are back again. Good morning, everybody. We're sorry for the interruption. We had some telephone line snags, and we had to quickly scramble and reestablish everything. We're speaking with Al Bielek of the Philadelphia Experiment, and we're going back to Al now in Atlanta, Georgia. Al, I'm sorry for the interruption. Those things happen. Yeah. At any rate, let's back up a little bit. We're going to have to do that since we lost a few moments and pick up. We're at a critical point.
Right. As I said, we returned to the Institute in January of 1942 to find preparations well underway for the test for the battleship. And they were nearly complete, but Tesla was having serious misgivings about the problems of the extreme power required to make a ship of 30,000 tons invisible as compared with a small tender, in which there would be personnel present. He was very concerned about the possible damage or injury or even death of personnel from the very high-powered electromagnetic fields. Now, as you had asked earlier, at that time, there was no information in the literature about what the neurological effects of certain levels of RF from magnetic fields would be. This was new territory. And, of course, today we have a lot of that information. There's a long history of tests. But it stems from the Philadelphia Experiment as the beginning point. Well, he was concerned. He was very severely concerned, and he went to the Navy and asked for extension of time to solve the problem. He says, I'm sure I can solve it. I need more time. The Navy said, you have an assigned test date, March 42. Do what you have to do, but you must meet that date. He had a serious problem there, and he knew it, and he decided the two options he had to go ahead with the test or to cancel it, that he would sabotage the test deliberately by detuning the equipment so that when the switches were thrown on that fateful day, nothing happened other than a few pieces of equipment blew up. Some tubes blew out in the transmitters, and that was all.
So he was in fear of what was about to happen to the degree that he actually sabotaged the test.
He did. And, of course, he bowed out at that point and saying, that test is a failure, I have other things to do. We have a very good man here, or you have a good man here who can take over these tests, Dr. John von Neumann. Well, of course, there's argument to this day, did he leave voluntarily or did the Navy fire him? Regardless, he left. And, of course, as history shows, he didn't live much longer after that. He died on January 7th, 1943 in his hotel room in New York, in New York City. John von Neumann takes over, and, of course, first thing he says to the Navy is, well, I have to study the problem and see what's wrong here. And it didn't take him long to find out what happened. But he decided that he was going to take advantage of this opportunity to redesign the equipment. Tesla's approach was analog, and von Neumann was known as a man who liked pulsing equipment and the pulsed approach. So he decided to redesign the equipment for pulse modulation rather than a continuous analog form of modulation.
All right, I would think, and maybe you can help me out here, but I would think once you moved into the area of pulse, you would be able to achieve higher peak power levels, and that was the idea.
Very true, and that was his idea. He, of course, abandoned the battleship, and the battleship was returned to service. I don't recall now what happened to it, but it wasn't there after a certain day. And we were all part of it at that point. So von Neumann, along about in June of 42, decides he wants a ship which is designed from the ground up for this project. So in July, he went to the federal shipbuilding yards at Newark, New Jersey, picks a number off the drawing board, GE-173, which later was known as the Eldridge, and said, I want this, this, and this change. Basically, what he wanted was, of the 4 gun turrets, number 2 was to be left unfinished. They said you can have a dummy wooden turret for it tests at sea, but they wanted that hole, as it were, left unfinished without the ammo racks below. Part of the interior of the ship was to be gutted so they could drop the heavy equipment in through that hole and slide it on rails to the central point midships. So the ship was built with those specifications. It came down the ways in September of 42, went into dry dock for outfitting the heavy equipment. The heavy equipment included the two 75 kVA generators, which were designed for this project, along with a very large electric motor with two right-angle gear drives. Electric motor was a 750-horse monster.
Wow.
The entire equipment was run on its own separate power system from ship's power. They ran in a special diesel-electric generator, about 8 megawatts output, which was a lot of output.
That's a big generator.
That's a big generator, but that's one of the reasons they had to have the interior of the hull gutted. All of that equipment was moved in dry dock, and in about September of 42, of course, the ship was taken under its own power. It was not totally gutted by any means, to the Philadelphia Navy Yard and put in a secure area in the rear. There was a front section for ordinary shipping, and there was a rear section with access control by a drawbridge for classified projects. So in December, the ship was sent there. Then in January on, the special electronics equipment was moved aboard. It wasn't that large. Also, during that summer, Van Neumann decided, and the Navy concurred, they wanted a special crew for these tests, namely an all-volunteer crew. So they went throughout the Navy, acquired after a period of time some 33 enlisted men, about 7 officers who volunteered for this project and essentially signed their lives away, and went through a special training school in the Coast Guard Academy at Groveland, Connecticut, if I remember correctly, for 3 months, from September to December of 1942. And who was the schoolmaster, if you will? We still have a picture of this crew. The headmaster was none other than my father in his Coast Guard uniform.
Uh-huh.
And there he was again, involved with the project.
Boy, just intertwined, your father intertwined all the way through this, didn't he?
That is correct. He intertwined a lot later. I'll go into that later. In any case, he was involved. We know this now. And this crew, when it was finished with its training, was assigned to the Philadelphia Navy Yard. The electronics went on board the Eldridge, as it came to be known later, during that period from January to March. Now, we came back in there, as I said, the beginning of 42, and we were in through that whole period. And we then said to Van Neumann repeatedly, "You're likely to have a problem. Tesla said so." He was not very pleased about the mentioning of the name Tesla. I have to point something out. All of the personnel at the Institute had PhDs, with the sole exception of Nikola Tesla, who was not on staff. He was there as a consultant, you might say.
Were the two of them competitive, Al?
In a certain sense, that was true. Mm-hmm. They both highly respected each other's abilities, and Van Neumann never doubted the capability of Tesla. He had an impeccable reputation up to the point of the test failure in March 42.
Were there professional jealousies?
It was sort of a professional jealousy, because Tesla, you see, did not have a degree. He had an honorary PhD, but did not have a real one.
I see.
But no one questioned his capability. No one at all. But it was a sort of professional thing. Here was a man ahead of the project who didn't have a PhD.
So I can understand there might be some resentments there. All right, hold the story for a second. We'll be right back to you, Al.
Okay.
Al Bielek and the Philadelphia experiment is the subject this morning. Stay right where you are. Back now to Atlanta, Georgia. And Al, we've got about 3 minutes before the break at the bottom of the hour. Go ahead.
Okay. With the continuing work on this, as we learned when we mentioned particularly about Tesla's name to Van Neumann, he became very irate. But Van Neumann himself became convinced in a short period of time that there was a potential for problems on the human element. He decided to up the power. First of all, it was a pulsed approach, 10% duty cycle. Mm-hmm. And he decided to up the power. The transmitters, RF transmitters, which had been half a megawatt output, he upped the boosters to 2 megawatts each.
Holy mackerel.
And of course, they could be pulsed theoretically to 20 megawatts each peak pulse power output. They didn't go that high, but had the theoretical capability.
Wow.
He made no change in the generator system other than with the pulse technique, he had to put special damper coils on the top of these conical magnetic field generators, if you will, on the deck of the ship, which stood a little over 6 feet high, by the way. And he started to become concerned about the problems of power and related to the human mind and the neurological system. So he decided to try to do something to compensate for this. He added a third generator to the system after ordering it from Westinghouse. Never worked properly. He couldn't synchronize that with the other two. And eventually, one day in May of 43, it went out of control, and one of the other technicians assigned to us was zapped badly with a arc of engine of almost lightning. High voltage that came off of that generator because it was out of sync.
Right.
Wound up in the hospital in a coma for 4 months, eventually recovered and was given a medical discharge. So he was back to square one. He scrapped the third generator and decided to continue along with his normal approach. Now, in June, the ship had sea trials, which were very successful because the intent was, if all the tests were successful, the Eldridge would immediately go to sea. And they had all kinds of backup systems already built. In any case, the test date, after a lot of testing in the Navy Yard of the various systems, subsystem testing really, I decided to go for the full board test in July of 43 in the harbor and outside of Philadelphia.
All right, that's a good place to hold it then. We're now at the bottom of the hour, and when we come back, we'll pick up with the full-scale test. All right, stay right there, Al Bielek, and he is our guest from Atlanta, Georgia. You're listening to the CBC Radio Network from the high desert and the great American Southwest. I'm Art Bell. Stay right there.
From the Kingdom of Nine, this is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell on the CBC Radio Network.
Good morning,
Now,
everybody.
once again, here's Art.
Thank you. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Ross. That's Ross Mitchell of KOH. My guest is Al Bielek from the Philadelphia experiment. And just when we got to a critical moment on a discussion of the experiment, just as apparently he was saying, and then the battleship, we lost everything. Picked it back up again. And now, once again, out to Atlanta, Georgia. And I wonder if they got us. I wonder if somebody was listening and said, we don't want that story out. Click. It sure felt that way. And this is the way people begin to believe in conspiracies, don't you know? Al Bielek, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. As I said, it's almost enough to get a person to believe in conspiracies, Al.
Well, I've had that happen once before on a different show in the days when one of the people from Vegas moved back east to Rhode Island. They cut off all the phone lines. He couldn't call me and I couldn't call him.
Yeah, I actually, I'll tell you, Al, for a few moments there, I really did experience that. I couldn't get a line out. I couldn't get a line. The numbers I dialed were disconnected and put me back to a dial tone. It was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
So something happened. Anyway, back to it, if you would.
Right. On July 22nd, we had our first field test in the harbor. The volunteer crew, actually, they only used a skeleton crew of about 15 enlisted men and some 8 officers, 2 of whom were Duncan and myself, who were trained to run the equipment for the test. The equipment was housed in a special, completely enclosed room on deck, which was part of the main structure of the ship. So we were on station at about 900 hours. We were told to go ahead with the test by radio link, and there was a carrier with its observer ship with certain personnel on board, including Dr. von Neumann. So we fired up the equipment. See, there were no computers in those days. Everything had to be done by hand. And we knew what the procedure was, so we fired up the equipment, and the ship became invisible to sight as well as to radar. By 43, they had very good radar, and they were concerned about radar invisibility. Everything went very well. After about 20 minutes, the commander who was in charge of the test, Captain Harrison, who is now deceased, ordered the test discontinued.
Okay, listen, I want to ask you a question about the test, Al. I, of course, was not there, and I just saw the movie, but I'm recalling that in the movie, the ship did not disappear right away. It kind of wavered and quavered and shimmered almost. And is that the way it was in reality?
Partially correct. However, in the first test, the ship disappeared from sight as well as from radar, but it was surrounded with a mist, and it was a sort of greenish fog. And why the color green, we don't really know, except that one of the byproducts of this test was in generation of large amounts of ozone gas.
Right.
The ship, however, was still there in the harbor, but what they found in the process of the observation was that the waterline, which would show where the ship should be, was much larger than the ship, and there was an apparent hole in the bay, much larger than the ship itself, and they couldn't see the bottom of it through binoculars from the observing personnel on the carrier.
A hole in the bay?
Yeah. In other words, a very large waterline with nothing there.
Wow.
And Captain Harrison was very concerned about this. He said that he knew the ship was gutted in the interior and there wasn't everything there in the normal internal structure, and he was afraid that the ship might be supported on air rather than water, and it would break in half. He knew that if that were the case. So we ordered the ship's test discontinued. We turned off the power and returned under our normal power back to dockside. At that point, we found out that those personnel who were on deck were very severely disoriented, nauseous, ill, and as the saying goes, out of it, and definitely not well, showing the effects of exposure to very high-powered electromagnetic radiation.
All right, these were the personnel on deck, but not necessarily those who were inside.
That is correct. Those below deck were not affected. Duncan and I, being behind steel, were not affected. Steel is an excellent shield against both magnetic fields as well as RF.
Right. Well, so where were you exactly when the first test occurred?
We were in the control room, which was midships, and we ran all the equipment right from that point.
So you were actually operating the equipment that did this?
That is correct. That was our job and our task, Duncan and myself. It took 2 people to operate the equipment properly. And we just continued the test on orders, went back to the Navy Yard. They found out very sick personnel. Then Neumann was quite concerned about this. The Navy says, not to worry, we have another crew for you. And Von Neumann then went to the Navy and says, I have to look at this and study this and try to solve this problem. The Navy gave no response for a few days, and Von Neumann asked for an extension in time, rather an indefinite one. The Navy finally came up with an answer and says, you will complete the test by the 12th of August, 1943, or forget it. It was a drop-dead test date. Like, do it by then or just forget the whole damn thing. Well, nobody understood this, and I knew Hal Bowen fairly well at that point, and I went to him and I said, what is this all about? And he says, well, that's the orders I received. And he says, where did they come from, and what's this all about? Well, he tracked it down, found out that it came from the Chief of Naval Operations himself, who was then Admiral King, and he was told that this is the way it is. Now, Admiral King, as CNO, is not concerned other than the cursory way of engineering tests. He is concerned with the operation of the war and the Navy's part in that and all theaters of operation. He is not a man who is going to take detailed interest in an engineering test. So we didn't understand this. It took a long time to find out what was really involved. In fact, it took many decades. In any case, we had the 12th of August drop-dead date, and the Navy says, you don't have to worry about
people, I'm back.
I'm back.
Big up.
What we're really concerned about is radar invisibility. Well, that made a slight decrease in the
sounds like he was getting into the
requirements.
Juice of it. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to let people know here that I wasn't the captain of the ship at that time.
Hold on, Eunice. We saying Chris K.
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What, you coming out today to meet us, man? What you saying?
No, I'm busy today. I'm actually busy. I had to run some errands and all that.
All right. Yeah, man. I hear that. But yeah, man. It don't start till what? 2, I think. Yeah, or 3. Well, I'm gonna be out there by 2. You get me? So yeah. I don't know where my mods are at. They're hiding in that. But big up everybody who still stay tuned in, man. Mr. Emmanuel Paul. Get me? Jump on, man. We can have a conversation. You know what in the Illuminati is going on for you, mate? Rod said he saw you, mate. Yeah. And you showed him your gloves, your mason gloves, and that. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool, man. You're a baby in this, man. You get me? Just believe what they told you, man. Get me? When you get to the advanced levels, you soon see what we're talking about. You get me? It's definitely a lot more deep rooted than what you would think. You're at entry level still, so yeah. But I'm not bound to no secrets. You get me? I'll expose them, bros. What do you mean? I'll expose them, man. Yeah, they don't like me.
Yo.
Or my ancestors. Yo, what you saying, Chris?
I had it muted because I was playing music. So
Yeah. So what's going on? What's happening?
wait, you guys weren't you guys are talking about fucking? What were you talking about before? It was interesting.
Oh, Al Bielek.
Al Bielek
and the Philadelphia project and the Montauk project, and he was the individual who was on these projects, or what they call Project Invincible. You know what I'm saying? Like in the government files, Project Blue Book, Project this, Project that. They all stem from older projects, right?
I mean, it don't sound like you're fucking. You're talking about like people that were covering up alien shit.
Well, amongst other things, but his more thing was like he actually went for an experience of time travel, going from when he was on the ship, as he was explaining, to when he jumped off with his brother and ended up in another time. So, yeah.
Dude, I've heard stories of people that like, and you were talking about Navy, right? Also, it brought something up. Fucking, I knew this fool that fucking, I didn't know him, but like he thought he was reincarnated. Like he had memories of like some guy that was on a Navy.
Yeah, you need to look it up. It's the USS Eldridge was the name.
Yeah, he has fucking memories of like the guy that drowned or whatever, and he knows where he lives, everything, his address and all that shit. Crazy. Isn't that crazy?
So there's people out there like that, but this guy, I'm surprised they ain't killed him yet, to be honest. Do you know what I'm saying? Because all the other guys who speak similar to him are basically dead. You know what I mean?
The guy you were talking about before, the Navy guy?
There was an army.
I don't know. I missed what you're saying, dude. I was listening. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, most of the other guys like him, whistleblowers and people who've been through experience, government stuff, they don't usually last long. They tell their story, but it's like back in the
and like I got you. It gets leaked and they get killed.
Yeah, and they get killed. You got what I'm saying? Because a lot of them met their end, but he's the one still kicking and still going.
Right.
But he's saying they reverted him back to being a baby in another time before he actually existed.
What if I say that I think Tupac is still alive?
I would say I there's evidence to say that could be a possibility. Yeah.
I mean, call me crazy, like fucking dude. I think there's an island out there somewhere, like fucking Tupac, Robin Williams, John Candy, Chris Farley.
Right.
Like whoever else died. I think it's all
whoever
bullshit.
has died in the last couple of years, actually, because you'd be
I
surprised.
think it's all fucking bullshit. I think they just wanted to get done. They got their money. They're like, I'm done. And they fucking went to an island. I think they live on an island that nobody knows of. And fucking these fools are not dead. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree. But
it's a possibility, right? I mean, it could be there.
Michael Jackson is not dead. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what I'm saying. But how is Michael Jackson dead, dude? Like, oh, I can't sleep. Give me medication. Like, come on, dude. That's retarded.
Yeah, so weak, innit?
Yeah,
maybe
that's
if it
dumb as
wasn't
shit,
the real
dude.
Michael Jackson, maybe if it was a clone, maybe if the clone was breaking down and the nose was falling off and all of this type of stuff, maybe that could be a possibility. And even then, when they said that he died,
Kobe Bryant, it's bullshit. There's no way he
I
died
got
there.
a video of the truck. I remember the video.
There's no
of the
fucking
truck.
way. Show me the body.
The ambulance that was outside his house that went into the.
Dude, there's no way Kobe's
hospital.
dead, dude.
Yeah.
Like imagine dying in a helicopter crash. Like that's fucking dude. Really?
I know.
In 2020, like he died like 2 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
That's dumb, dude. Like you don't die in helicopters like nowadays. I don't know.
I know.
I
But
feel like
supposedly did.
it's all fake. It's all fake. You guys know Illuminati?
So do you think Kobe Bryant? Do you think
No, I feel like, dude, when that first happened, I'm like, no.
fake event or something like that?
It's
It
a
was a
fucking
real
lie.
event.
Huh?
The
I do
event
believe
was
that
real.
helicopter crashes do occur and all that.
No, sorry. A helicopter was exploded, and they let us see that, right? Right.
Dude,
but do we know Kobe Bryant was in there? No, we don't.
That's like the dumbest way to die, though. Think about it. Come on, bro.
Not even the dumbest way to die. I'm just saying, what they displayed to us was a video of a helicopter exploding, right? And
Yeah.
said that was the moment Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? And I'm like, rah,
Yeah.
how was you filming it already? Like this
Yeah.
sounds premeditated and
That's what I'm saying, dude. I feel like it's fake. I feel like it's fake, dude.
Also, the fact that he could have easily caught a different helicopter, or he
Yeah.
wasn't in the helicopter, him and his daughter, or they had.
He wasn't
plans
even
for
in
him.
it, dude. He took off to the island with Robin Williams, Chris Farley, Tupac, and all those fools out there.
But they
They're out there.
they can remote do that. They can remote fly a helicopter and explode it.
Telling
That's
you,
easy.
telling you, these fools.
That's baby food. You know what I mean? They can do such things.
Is it he was going to the Lakers game, right? Or something like that. He was going to, I think, the Staples Center.
Yeah. He was like, from his house.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, why would he actually take a helicopter from, Calabasas all the way to, to the Staples Center?
Maybe it was Cooker.
No, you know why? Because he can.
Yeah, because he can. Maybe.
I mean, I'd rather
he's
drive.
Kobe Bryant. He can do what he wants.
As I said, we. That's what they displayed in front of us.
If I could take a helicopter where I want to go, I would do it too. You know?
Yeah, I mean, because it's usually safe. So I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of hotels and buildings.
And it wasn't only fucking
skyscrapers.
him. It was his daughter and like how many other people? Like 6 other. That's crazy, bro.
Helipad and all sorts.
I'm still sad about that, dude.
But
That's my
as
dude.
I said, when they want you and they want your DNA and they want you for other purposes, they can take you.
There's
to
something else
places.
going on, dude.
They can take you to places underground.
Have you guys? You can look it up. Have you seen Kobe do the pyramid? Or the fucking triangle.
Yeah.
Like he's like this.
I know.
You know, Illuminati, dog. Like I think they sacrificed him. I don't know.
Isn't Dorito Illuminati?
Like he was deep. I don't know.
Emmanuel, you need to come and answer some questions, man, because this would be considered conspiracy theory, but it's definitely in the realms of you guys, you Illuminatiists, and you Freemasons.
I mean, dude, there's no way that he died. Kobe Bryant did not die in a helicopter. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
Doritos made by Illuminatis.
There's a lot of doubt on that one. There's a lot of doubt on Tupac. There's a lot of doubt on thing because there's no body. We never ever saw a body for Tupac.
Yeah, I'd yet to see. I mean, wait, there was like supposed pictures, that the fucking fire department took or whatever, and like the fucking what's her name, Kobe's wife. Remember, like she sued or whatever, like saying fucking they have to. I don't know. You guys, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like there was like some people that actually took pictures of it and fucking. Yeah. I mean, have you got? It's not leaked on the internet, so.
Yeah.
It's all
exactly.
bullshit. It's all bullshit. Exactly. It's all fucking bullshit.
It is.
Do you know what?
And Robin Williams would not hang himself. Come on, dude.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know the Illuminati sign, the triangle sign in it? Have you noticed all the sides are equal? They all got a 60 degrees angle and all that.
Yep. Triangles.
Yeah, but not all triangles have equal sides and all that. That's an equilateral triangle.
Okay.
Was I a sniper for the military? No, man. I was a sniper for the people, man. Well, where I live, man, guns and violence and being in a war or civil war is normal.
I don't know. I guess fucking.
Yeah. I come from Tottenham and they call it Nam. Yeah, just like they call it Pek Nam, they call it Top Nam because it's like Vietnam at certain stages. You know what I mean? We had the
There's
highest
probably
gun
like an
crime
island out
and
there, dude. I
all
think. I
sorts.
don't know.
People shooting people like normal, like back in the day in my ends. Like it's rough out here, for bro. That's why to
Dude.
make it to my age, yeah, I
I mean,
deserved
Tottenham's not
even
that rough. Like it
even
has
to get
football. It has a
to
football
get the
club in it.
general. Sorry, even to get general status, it's not just a given thing. Like yeah, general sniper. I was a general from I was a youth because you have to be some form of level. I started off as a grunt or whatever, a foot soldier, and I arised very quickly because, like, bro, just to live to a certain age is why you get the medals you do. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a concrete jungle, man. And I'm Simba. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to survival, right?
Simba.
Some people do anything to survive, like snitch and all of that, but we don't need to do that. Us experience and been in the trenches and that front line.
I mean, like, come on, dude. Robin Williams really hung himself. That's retarded. Kurt Cobain, I think that's a scam, also.
But there's a lot of people, as I said, could be in this special place that.
That's what I'm thinking, dude. I think they just fucking they faked it and they fucking they got out of here.
They don't have no cameras. Wherever this place is, they don't have no cameras. They don't deal with media. You know what I'm saying? So we're never
probably
gonna know.
fucking dope as shit, and they're fucking all these celebrities are like chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bury them chilling, running jokes, doing secret concerts for each other. Elvis is still performing. You know what I mean?
Elvis is there, yeah. Dude, Elvis. Who else? Fucking what's his name? The fucking what's his name?
Go on, Illuminati himself. What are you saying?
Good evening, all. Good evening, all.
Good evening, man. I mean, good afternoon.
It's not evening, it's afternoon, fam. But what is that Illuminati talk? What is that?
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, there's something going on, dude.
Evening,
like, I don't know,
good evening when it's afternoon. Special code. Is that special talk? Yeah. Come on, man.
Dude, like seriously, you actually think Robin Williams hung himself in a fucking hotel? That's not.
I don't know, and I doubt it. I would doubt
That's
it.
what
But
I'm saying.
maybe
Like,
it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
He did not do that shit.
I'm saying it's a possibility because of the.
Sometimes things just happen, you know.
Yeah,
not
you might be
happen.
depressed.
They don't
You never
just
know.
happen. I think
I am too, but I'm not gonna hang myself.
Listen,
I mean, he's an actor, isn't it?
Listen,
He's good at
the funniest.
playing a fast one or that.
1 second. If the funniest person out here back in the day, like Jim Carrey, can suffer from depression and
millions of dollars,
all of that, So there's nothing to say that Robin Williams couldn't have suffered the same fate and decided to like end it. You know what I mean? Because of drugs and because of he's just not feeling funny anymore. It's a deep thing when you're a comedian and it's like no one takes you seriously. That can also have an effect on your psyche. You know what I mean? Like everybody expects jokes from you. Nothing you say is serious, even when you're being serious. No, I think it was psychosomatic.
I think it just went to the island.
Right, it was psychosomatic, and now because of that, Jim Carrey can play different roles, right? He can play more serious roles. We have to take him seriously now because he's been through, some
Robin
problems. No, I'm talking about Jim Carrey, but it's an example.
I mean, he's still alive. Yeah.
Being someone who's a comedian and funny, and everybody expects him to be funny, right? So there can be that scenario where it's just too much. They can't take it anymore. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on. Being in that lifestyle, that world of rituals and all of sorts of stuff going on. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
so it could kill anyone, man. As I said, money, you can get money and get wealth, and the things that you had to do for it, you don't even enjoy it. Because I've lived with wealthy people, and they're not happy people. A lot of them are sad as fuck. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's crazy. I mean, I'd be so happy.
They got
if
a habit, coke. They got thing. They got and a habit, something to distract.
Wouldn't you guys be happy if you had millions of dollars, like a couple million?
No, I'm saying, it doesn't seem like so now because it doesn't give you the comfortability. The only thing I would want
I disagree. I think money does buy.
Yeah, I think if you make a lot of money doing something that you're happy with, you won't be miserable.
Yeah, but no one's happy. It seems anyone who obtains that million mark, then you want 2 million, then you want 4 million. Then you want 10 million.
If fucking Chris, I mean, if you're exactly right, if Robin Williams hung himself because like he had billions and he fucking actually hung himself because he like whatever. That's crazy.
It's not about the money.
Didn't have billions. He didn't have billions. I'm
He's
saying it's
no,
like,
not billion. I mean
wealthy,
millions. You know.
Look,
Yeah,
what's his
fairly wealthy.
name? Kurt Cobain blew his brains out. Freaking, what's his name? From that group. He sang that song. Ben. He was in that group.
Yeah, but again, it's all
Sublime.
ritualistic, and
And
you
he
got what I'm
sang
saying?
that
Like
song.
it's all Illuminati based.
Everything you say
It's
to
all
me,
Masonic.
everyone keep- 'cause
Let's
of
be honest.
Everything you say, Linkin Park.
Yeah, he's in that group and he killed himself.
Chester,
Yeah.
Bennington.
Yeah, Chester Bennington. Yeah, he killed
Dude,
himself.
can you imagine that? He has 7 kids.
I know.
Listen, the
Like,
problem is
you're gonna
it's
kill
not even
yourself
that.
when you have 7 kids to take care of. Like, what?
Yes,
What? I mean, I
yes,
gotta say,
yes,
like, if
yes,
they
yes.
actually
And he
did, what a
just bought a new
fucking
house.
Or be killed. How can someone could be killed in front of you and told that they committed suicide?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
There's something going on, bro.
ritualistic-
I feel like there's something going on. Like, I
There's
can't
the
believe
ritualistic killings that we
it's
know,
all a fucking
standard,
scam, dude.
that follow the industries, the various industries, whether it's music, film,
Chester
and
Bennington. Yeah, he did
right?
not fucking.
That
Yeah,
has
that's
that
bullshit.
whole feel of checkered
No, but you
board,
have to understand certain
checkered
things.
floor.
Like,
Hold on 1 second. The 2 pillars, all of that in these videos, in these various things, and it's not really controlled by the artist. The artist is just doing the video and doing the song that was written by someone else that's doing some incantation of some sort, matched up with the video of Baphomet and this one and the checkered floor, or traveling through the desert and all of that, trying to find themselves and, oh, who did I sell my soul to?
That's what I mean,
but here's the thing:
So I ain't got no sympathy for a lot of them, because you don't know what they've done. You don't know how many ritual sacrifices and children they've murdered, to obtain that level of fame.
Exactly. Yeah, they probably they overdid it. You know, they fucking, yeah.
Exactly.
I agree.
They made friends like Emmanuel and that. You
what
know what I mean?
can't,
And that,
can't people
Listen,
just be talented nowadays?
nah, they can't. There's never been the way. Yeah. Like their people can't be genius. Do you get what I'm saying? It's all based on always someone else's works.
Oh, another one. Fucking what's his name? The rapper. Fucking he went out with Ariana Grande. Fucking that dude.
Oh, Mac Miller.
Mac Miller. Yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yeah, but he OD'd. That happens.
Prove it. Like, really?
Yeah, because these new rappers like to take all Percocet and Valium and fentanyl.
You know why though?
I mean, he's smart
Emmanuel.
though. He knows how much he could take. You know, he's not gonna OD.
Emmanuel, do you know why though? Because something is igging. Something is
No, I'm saying
asking
these
them,
fools are
digging
alive.
within them, that's asking for a form of escape from reality. Now, what possibly could that be? Do you get what I'm saying? That all of these people keep taking
island
these drugs
there's no
to
cameras, like
remove
nobody knows
themselves
about.
from the fame, from the wealth, from everybody, from society, the paparazzi. They just want to be by themselves. They just want to do strange stuff. They're running from something. They're taking drugs because they're trying to get away from something. And I'm telling you what it is, bro. Yeah, they have sold.
There could be another reason.
They have this, bruv. When you've had family members, look at the people who obtained the highest level of fame. They've all had a child that has died, right? They've all had family members that has died, has been sacrificed. Let's put it that way, has been sacrificed. So
that word sacrifice, I almost think that's what's happening with these celebrities.
Yeah.
With the Illuminati.
Definitely not. It's been happening with the celebrities. You know what I mean? It's been happening with the celebrities, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I don't know, dude.
The ritualistic ideas.
Something's going on, dude.
Right. Behind closed doors would be
dude, like, come on. Like, are you
at the
you guys
Playboy
actually...
Mansion? 1 second. At the Playboy Mansion that Summers mentioned, they invite you to these parties. Once you obtain, it seems by yourself, a level of fame and wealth and once you made 2 million this year, come to this party, yeah. Then certain doors are open to you whether it be homosexual ritualistic behavior or ritualistic behavior, yeah, on the other
Like
side.
backroom secret shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro.
So as I said, you're gonna have to conform. If you decide not to partake, your career would probably just go down the drain. We'll be like, "Rah, what happened to that guy? He was great, man. He was good, man. His career was going good. I don't know why he stopped. Because, bro, he didn't want to conform. Same for acting.
Yeah,
same for modeling.
It's like another form of government that's like, you know.
Right.
I don't know, dude.
It's secret,
crazy
it's
to think about, though,
ritualistic.
right?
It's once you join the funny eye, the triangle, and the funny handshake crew, yeah.
you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, the funny handshake.
Yeah, I know. But we got one of them sitting here. One of our brothers who decided to join one of these orders, and thinks that all of what's going on is has nothing to do with these individuals and these people who control our structure, our lives, and our governments, and everything, every aspect of what we do. Crazy.
All I gotta say is, like, Kobe Bryant did not die in a helicopter crash. That's the dumbest way to fucking die. Are you fucking serious?
And if it's not, and it
like,
is
come
true,
on, bro. Kobe Bryant,
if it's not, and it
that's
is
fucking
true,
bullshit. That's a crock of shit. Dude.
If it's not, and it is true, it's a ritual.
Happen. Unforeseen circumstances can destroy us
I'm
all.
saying
that's so stupid.
It can happen. How do you know? Hold on. How do you know that
I
somebody
don't,
else?
but like,
Hold
come on, dude.
Sorry. How do you know somebody else, yeah, used Kobe Bryant as their sacrifice? Yeah. Who'd be invested in
that's
having
what I'm
such a
saying.
thing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he fucked up somewhere, maybe, you know.
I'm just saying, just for example, say LeBron James always wanted to be you. He got your number, every number you ever wore, he's wearing. Yeah?
No, his number's retired. Kobe's number's retired.
Yeah, but not everywhere thing. And not every number. And now he's gone for number
he might,
and he was number 8. He had so many numbers.
823.
Right.
No, but his final number has been retired by the Lakers.
What is Jordan's number?
For 23.
I mean, sorry.
He might okay.
Kobe's numbers. Kobe's 8.
Not only 8, man.
8. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
8, 23, 24.
Oh, that's 23. 23.
Yeah, but his main number was 8.
He's had various numbers, man.
His biggest one was 8, though. 8 was the one.
Biggest one that I know was 8. Yeah. But yeah, everyone wants the number 23 in any team. Sometimes it's just not available. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But for the Lakers, yeah, man, everybody's gonna wear that 23, bro. So he's got many jerseys up on the rafters. You know what I mean, with all the different numbers on there. So, you know what I mean. We know that.
And he got drafted to the NBA right out of high school.
Yeah,
but as I said, all of it again out of high school or out of university, the university of this one and the university of that one, all where they pick them up, they collect them, they have them in fraternities, and then from there.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick? Can I say something? I mean, it's like, you know, he wanted it so bad. Maybe somebody, you know, maybe he sold his soul.
How do you sell your soul when you play that sick on the court?
Oh, please stop that one.
No, I mean, you know, who knows? Let me. If you can answer that question,
everybody else who's done it has attained a level.
You know, he's got talent from fucking selling his soul and fucking. You know, eventually, like he got. You know, it was like burnt out and fucking. Okay, you're done. That's it. And then all these people that are like celebrities and shit.
Maybe you know what I'm saying. I might.
Can't someone just be good at something? For their God.
I'm just saying, no.
I mean, he acquired the talent from fucking.
No. This guy was the hardest worker in basketball. Yeah. No one had the work ethic of Kobe Bryant. That means to gain perfection.
That's what I'm saying. Like the go out the fucking helicopter crash. That's so dumb.
He was not perfect, and he was not Jordan, but he was like the next best thing. He was the protege. He's the one he kind of learned from, and all of this type of stuff to perfect his art and make himself, that guy. create his own identity, but all in the shadow.
Last game
Hold
versus
on.
Jordan, he
All
got
in the
96
shadow
points over
of
Jordan.
MJ. Yeah, all in the shadow of MJ, right? Because MJ don't play no games, bro. When he's doing his stuff, he goes in, bro. He went in.
Talking about Michael Jordan.
Yeah. So and he's the GOAT to Kobe. Because when you get to play against greatness or the GOAT, yeah, you know about it. And I'm saying they were close friends and all of this type of stuff. So we know, yeah. But I'm saying Mike's sacrifice is different. He probably lost his father, remember? You notice everybody's losing somebody, right? And then as soon as they lose that person, they obtain that level of fame or that level of ability, and the guy can almost fly and and all of a sudden he's winning ring after ring after ring. 6 rings, in fact. Interesting. You get what I'm saying?
And then he dies in a helicopter. That doesn't work. That doesn't work.
You know what I'm saying? But he didn't even get the 6, did he? He got 5. Yeah,
That's fucking
Mike got 6.
dumbest shit I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I'm talking about Mike. Mike got 6. So as I said, it doesn't matter who. They've all involved in some secret mess up, crazy.
That's what I don't know, dude.
Behind closed doors.
Well, I mean, what do you guys think? Am I crazy?
Members and all of that are gonna die.
Eventually, I mean, yeah. I think they're like in a secret society, dude. Like that we don't know about.
We saying. Let me give you a perfect example. We saying Emmanuel, Kanye. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Kanye West. Right? Definitely initiated. Yeah?
Yeah.
Done the funny handshake.
Definitely in the squad there. Yeah.
Definitely snitched on the organization. Just saying that he was involved and he's dumb, right? Because Jay-Z brought him in, and even Jay-Z was smart enough to say, oh shit, this guy can't even keep a secret. Let me distance myself. Right? And we know he's definitely one of y'all. Yeah. He's got the white gloves. There's the picture of him in the white gloves in the Prince Hall. Yeah, got the full regalia on. Yeah, so we know that already, right? So he's initiated Kanye. Kanye can't keep his fucking mouth shut. Having some psychological problems because he's sacrificed his mother for this level of fame. Do you get what I'm saying? So he's already done his sacrifice.
Somebody's got to die. You know,
right.
Make a choice.
Jay-Z's done it already. He's lost a child early. You know what I mean? Look just like him.
I hope we don't ever. Hope we don't get.
Sorry.
I thought his one was Aaliyah, supposedly. Whatever, if you want to believe that sort of thing.
Well, it wouldn't be for him, would it? It would be for R. Kelly, no?
No, because he was dating Aaliyah.
Yeah, well, you can date Aaliyah, but the original sacrifice, if anything was done, is the person who put her on track or put her on record, who made her sign the contract, who married her. Do you get it? And how famous is that person? Do you get it? That person's level of fame far superior to both of them.
It was Kobe.
Before that time,
he got sacrificed.
Right. So as I said, yes, it's true, but we don't know who's getting sacrificed for who. But it's most likely.
Hey, bro, we got to be careful.
Yeah, no, but it's most likely.
That's all for
somebody adjacent, somebody.
Dude, do you actually think? Go ahead.
Go on.
I saw conspiracy theory, don't you think?
No, it's reality, bro.
No, I actually do think it's a conspiracy.
People dying is not a conspiracy. That's what I'm saying. People dying in people's families is not a conspiracy.
Dude, you actually think Robin Williams hung himself with his belt? That doesn't.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. As I said,
I highly doubt it, dude. Like I said, he's on an
island. He gonna believe what they told him. Right?
It's all bullshit, dude. Like they just wanted to get away from fucking the spotlight, and they're living somewhere else, like silent. That's what I think.
Do you think up in the secret halls of the Illuminati they even care about what we're talking about?
I don't know, dude. They fucking. I mean,
whether we know or not, yeah. Whether some of us are in the know, yeah, and some of us are gonna get to know, because if you're involved with them, you're gonna get to know eventually, bro.
If they fucking, dude, like that is so.
Actually, like millennia behind, man, when it comes to what these people are up to.
No, when I first heard about Kobe dying from a helicopter, I'm like, I laughed. I was like, no, come on, bro, that's retarded, dude. That fool's not gonna, dude. He would jump out and fucking like have a fucking parachute, you know? I don't know. That's like the dumbest. That's like the dumbest way to die, dude. Like that.
Listen,
that's so big.
Emmanuel,
So big.
Emmanuel.
It's not exactly the dumbest. They
Yeah,
are dumb.
but who do you think made up the concept of conspiracy theory? If not these same individuals.
Think about it. Tupac.
Yeah. Skullduggery, espionage. All of these things follow the Masonic pattern. Do you get what I'm saying? Like secrets have to be carried. People want to find out.
And it's, you know what's funny is there's not.
Everyone has secrets.
Yes, exactly.
No, I mean,
and other people want to know other people's secrets, right?
There's not much footage or pictures of the bodies after, you know. It's like,
you have secrets, don't you? You have secrets.
Yeah, I'm saying there's nothing
Exactly.
wrong with having
You
secrets.
have secrets. Everyone has secrets.
But
so
I'm not going to create spies. Hold on. I'm not going to create a spy to learn other people's secrets. I'm not doing that. I'm going to ask you if you want to tell me. Do you get what I'm saying? Or I'm going to investigate something. I'm not going to do that.
I'm the same way. Like I ask questions. That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
But everyone.
But again, this idea of conspiracy theory, you need to get it into your head. Yeah, that it is a theory.
It's theory, possibility,
and it is a conspiracy. So like, they came with the concept. As I said, they're conspiracy theorists and conspiracy doers. So like, if people do conspiracies and they conspire to take over governments, they conspire to take over the world, they conspire. So yeah, they're very conspicuous in their actions.
I think
how they do things. Yeah. So the idea of keeping secrets, that's not the thing. But the idea of having a spy and doing espionage and, you know, learning magic and, you know, illusion to trick people, or to how to hypnotize an individual.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Just by shaking their hand. Like these things further the cause of what they want. When you're a spy or when you want to get into certain other Masonic organizations, you can pretend to be them and all of that and learn their secrets and obtain the highest information and then move on. Even though that's allowed anyway. Yeah, you can be more than a member of one order, but I don't think you always come in at entry level for some. If you make it to a Grandmaster Mason in one order, I don't think that you're coming in at the bottom level in that next order.
No, because you're Master Mason in all lodges.
Yeah. So you're at a level, you're already higher. You're not going to be an entry trainee or any of that, or you know.
No.
What names they call them.
Guys, I'll be come back later. I'll be come back later.
Who you?
Yeah, on stream. I actually need to do a couple of things.
I'm still here.
Take care, guys.
Where's Axum? Axum, jump on, man.
Hi, Eunice.
You're gonna have to control this shit, man. I'm going out soon, man. So.
You going to the picnic?
Yeah, man.
I thought so. You made a live.
Outplay Jeds and that. Come on.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
We're not gonna go play football.
Huh?
We're not gonna go play football.
Oh no, we're going to the park. One of the parks.
Park?
North.
Oh.
The one with 2 haters.
Look like y'all got a game set of some cards and dominoes.
Dominoes, let's play.
It's a good day for it.
Hey, you guys play spades?
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah, dude, I love spades.
You in Vegas, shoot, I play blackjack.
It's a blackjack, innit?
Yeah, I don't like to lose money though.
No, that's the bad part.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude, I love it, but like when I lose, I'm like, fuck. It's what, $20? I could have been like fucking my beer, you know?
Oh shit, you get that free when you gamble though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At the place.
It depends. Yeah, go ahead.
So you're not in the live.
Who?
You're
well,
not
if one of these lot, especially Axum, if she jumps on, then I can leave it running. But you know what I'm saying. But
sorry.
Enjoy yourself. I heard
MJ's gonna be with us, so she won't be on.
No, dude, like
a couple others won't be on.
Dude,
well,
Tupac is not dead, dude. Come on, bro. Tupac, fucking Robin Williams.
Jurassic 5.
Huh?
He's in that group, Jurassic 5. He's the dread. He's the small.
That's what I'm saying, dude. This shit, fucking. I don't know, dude. Something's up.
Here we
What
go.
these guys talking about, man?
I mean, whatever, dude. If you guys think I'm crazy, then
So you saying Elvis is alive also, right?
I mean, at this
Nah,
point,
he's
he's probably like
dead
really
by
old.
now.
Though, he is.
He probably, I don't know if he's dead by now, but he probably is dead by now. But yeah.
Dude,
I think
you really
he was
think
alive
Robin
for a while.
Williams hung himself in a fucking hotel room, dude, with a belt? That's fucking that.
It
No,
could be, man. I don't know about hung himself, but he could have been hung in a hotel room.
Kurt
There's
Cobain.
evidence and pictures of that.
You know,
Yeah, that's
they're
what happened.
sketchy. They're sketchy. Fucking. I mean, there's no. I mean, bullshit photos of that shit. Could be fake as fuck. You know. Like I said, I don't know.
I don't know. Not being racist or anything, but the white folks do some crazy shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Crazy fugazi.
You know, it don't look like anybody hopping on Sniper, so
I know, man.
Yes.
You know what time it is for them, man. It's peak for them. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like fucking. I can't believe like, dude, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter. That's so dumb, dude. So fucking dumb. Like, what dumb way to die?
Yeah,
Come
man.
So that's accidental.
It's fake. It's fake.
Kobe, he wasn't the one flying that helicopter.
Yeah, I don't think he was even in there. I think he fucking still alive.
Oh, okay. Sniper, I'm out of here.
Big up, big up, big up.
Okay, Chris, you have a good
Have a good one.
Hey, peace.
Well, peeps.
Cat crying somewhere.
It is what it is, man. You got me. I always enjoy a Saturday stream.
You know, here's the thing.
Bruh.
If somehow, like, you know, society found out about like this fucking, I think there's an island out there that fucking all these people live on, dude.
I do as well. I think
like a secret island that fucking they're like, okay, I want to get away from fucking the public. I want to just like live my life, and they're like on an island.
Well, if there's Area 51, there must be Area 58.
No, it's not even
56,
like fucking. It's like
55,
way out there. Like,
54. I want to know what Area 1 looks like. So
I think it's like, you know, a massive part of land that's not like reported.
Well, it can't
like
be,
you know, on fucking maps. You know what I mean?
No, I feel that the ones
you know what I mean, like fucking
your country are underground, right? There's bare underground bases in the Nevada desert and all of this place. Groom Lake.
I wouldn't say no. I say not even in Nevada. It's like fucking off in the Pacific, like fucking 1,000 miles out, dude. A fucking huge island is where they're at. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, no, I'm saying that the underground bases is also another point because there's rumors that they've got bases that go so far down and it's more like a city. And I'm like, well, if you can do that, then maybe that's where some of the celebrities are going. They're going to this
Dude, I would
space
rather
where
just. I wouldn't want to live in an underground fucking city my whole life. I would like not want to do that. I would just.
you
Yeah.
don't even know, man. It might be like a greenhouse. How a greenhouse is, you know, extra green.
Yeah, maybe it's like maybe it's heaven down there. Yeah, good point.
No, like what's it called? The Epcot Center at Disney. You've been there, right?
That's in Florida, right?
Huh?
Epcot, that's in Florida.
Yeah. That's right.
I've only been to Disneyland in California.
Okay.
But now what are you talking about?
Yeah, but yeah. That's an environment thing, right? That's basically terra transforming, because like they're growing plants and everything in an environment. Do you get what I'm saying? Practicing for other worlds. They're not even doing it for here. They're saying they're doing it for other worlds. So yeah, they can do a lot of stuff.
So much. I mean, you guys think we're crazy?
They can do it there. They can definitely do it underground. So if they can do that underground, yeah, then they can definitely make a living environment for people to live, maybe with a fake sun or fake light, or I don't even know. You get me? But yeah.
Have you guys seen the videos of Tupac playing basketball?
No, I haven't seen that.
I think it's on YouTube, but yeah, it's like Tupac. He's not dead, dude. Tupac is not dead. Like that fool. And like, imagine they don't have any fucking nobody got caught for that. Like, so the people that killed him are still out there. Come on, bro. It's fucking retarded, dude. That's just like fucking the 9/11, fucking the Twin Towers.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you guys about this the last time I talked to you? No.
9/11. Yeah.
There is firefighters that actually heard, explosions like on the base of the Twin Towers, like, in the fucking parking garage, like boom, 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 going off, and they're sitting there like they heard bop, 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 like to bring it down.
Yeah, it's sick. Dublin, but it's just showing
like
the foolishness.
That's crazy. I mean, these guys they actually quit. They're like, okay, I'm done firefighting because like
they're going to attach that to going to Mars, my brother. Yeah, they're going to attach that to going to Mars and terratransforming other planets. So planets with water, you can terratransform it by obviously changing the environment, right? If you've got a frozen planet, all you got to do is heat it up, right? So you can set off a nuclear explosion at each pole and then change the whole environment. All that ice melts, becomes steam, becomes the atmosphere, and blah, blah, blah. And then you've got different conditions. Then you can go down there, plant, do whatever, or find a space. But their thing is Mars right now. They're saying, yeah, they can send people to Mars. And because of this, what they've been doing in the Epcot Center, yeah, seeing, zero gravity, less oxygen, more carbon monoxide environment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like extreme heat and extreme thing. But what they've realized is Mars is just extremes of everything. It's extremely hot and extremely cold, and so
still
they would
doable.
have to be in environments exactly. So everything would have to be kind of greenhouse. So they can.
Have you guys seen the interview with Elon Musk? Musk. He
remember, they want to send people there, and them not come back. So that's
well,
crazy.
I mean, Elon Musk actually cried. He's like, "We're gonna get to Mars, but like, I'm gonna probably be dead by the time we get there." And he's like upset about it. He actually cried. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's right, dude. Like, dude,
that's crazy. But anyway, Chris, I gotta go, man. Listen, we'll catch up tomorrow. I'll be around tomorrow.
All right, hey.
Yeah.
I'll catch you guys later. I mean, I'll hang up or whatever. You guys taking
man.
off?
Yeah, man. All right, big up, family.
Hey, be careful out there.
Thanks for tuning in, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Be careful, guys.
A couple of videos. And be cool.
For sure. Peace out.